And we're live. Magandang hapon mga ka-SBN. I'm Therese, your host for today, and we'll be having our first Ask Me Anything session sa ating SBN Philippines community. Nakikita ko dito sa ating comment section na may may isa tayong ka-SBN na kanina pa daw siya nag-aabang. Okay po yan. Sige, i-invite nyo rin po ang iba nating mga ka-SBN na manood dito sa ating Ask Me Anything session because for sure, marami po tayong matututunan from our guest this afternoon. So, sino ba tong guest natin na to? Well, yung guest natin na to, hindi natin siya masyado napakinggan nung ating launch event. Kaya, naghanda kami ng special AMA session just for him. Kasama natin ngayong araw ang founder and CEO ng Small Business Solutions and Small Business Network, Mr. Clarry Herrera, para sagutin ang lahat ng katanungan nyo tungkol sa pagnenegosyo, marketing, at syempre sa SBN Philippines community. So, tawagan na natin si Clarry. Clarry, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Therese, and good afternoon sa ating mga ka-SBN. Happy Friday po.
Happy Friday as well, Clarry. Nasabi ko nga no na hindi ka namin masyado narinig nung launch event natin. So, hopefully this time around mas makikilala pa nila si Mr. Clarry Herrera at bakit nga ba nandito ang SBN Philippines. But before anything else, you know what, I'm really happy na meron tayong mga ganito, yung mga Ask Me Anything session because for sure yung mga startup nating mga ka-SBN or yung mga bago pa lang sa pagnenegosyo, marami rin yung mga tanong, syempre, di ba? So, with this
Correct.
AMA session, for sure, may maibabahagi ka sa kanila. Ikaw, what are you feeling right now since this is also our first Ask Me Anything session?
Actually, Therese, I'm very excited. First of all, dahil ito nga ang ating unang activation activity dito sa ating SBN Philippines community. And very excited din ako na malaman kung ano yung mga katanungan ng ating mga ka-SBN at kung paano ako makakatulong sa kanila na makapag-transfer of knowledge. That's one main purpose of our SBN Philippines community, to facilitate transfer of knowledge between one business owner to another business owner. So I'm very excited, and of course, very excited din ako dahil magwi-weekend na. I'm I'm sure marami sa ating mga ka-SBN ngayon ang excited na mag-weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So parang magandang panapos ng ating weekend ngayong Friday ay magkaroon tayo ng isang magandang kulitan at AMA session.
Tama. Para maging happy ang weekend, dapat may mga bago rin tayong matututunan, lalo na tungkol sa pagnenegosyo. So, Clary, for
Tama?
today, may mga questions tayo, no? May mga manggagaling
Mm.
sa ating mga ka-SBN at syempre, meron ding mga prepared na for you. So, sa lahat naman ng mga hindi nakapag-send in na kanilang mga questions sa ating announcement last time, this is the perfect time that you can send in your questions. Open po ang ating comment section para matanong nyo kung anong gusto nyong mga matanong tungkol sa pagnenegosyo, marketing, SBN kay Clarry. Kaya i-comment nyo na yan sa ating comment section and later on, pipili po kami ng mga questions to ask to Clarry. And dahil mahal na mahal nga namin ang SBN Philippines community, meron tayong giveaway. Hinding-hindi mawawala ang giveaway ngayong hapon. Mamimigay po kami ng hashtag #AhoNegosyong Pinoy t-shirt. Makikita nyo naman, minomodel ngayon ni Clarry. So sa ating mga ka-SBN, makakatanggap po kayo ng hashtag #AhoNegosyong Pinoy shirt. Magstay lang po kayo hanggang dulo ng ating stream para sa announcement kung sino ba ang mga mananalo ng ating t-shirt na yan. And I would like to also let you know kung paano nga bang magiging flow natin dito sa ating AMA session. So first, meron tayong set of questions na nakaprepare na para sagutin ni Clarry, like what I've mentioned a while ago. Now, and then for the second segment, kumuha po kami ng 5 katanungan sa mga nag-comment sa ating AMA announcement post na of course sasagutin din yan ni Clarry for you. And lastly, sasagutin natin ang mga katanungan na i-comment nyo po ngayon sa ating comment section. Kaya if you have any questions, i-type nyo lang yan. And we will be
Tama.
ready. Well, Clarry will be ready to answer that. Ready ka na ba,
Malay mo,
Clarry?
Terry, meron din mga questions para sa'yo mamaya. So,
Oo nga
I'm ready, I'm
naman.
ready.
Okay, well, since Clarry is ready, and we really want to hear from the founder of SBN, we've prepared some questions for you. And like what I mentioned, ito na ang ating first segment. Okay? But before that pala, Clary, wait lang. May nagtatanong kasi dito sa na ka-SBN natin. Dito po ba ang mismong live or sa page ng SBN? Dito po sa ating community, dito po mismo ang live. Exclusive lang po ito
Yeah.
para sa ating mga ka-SBN. Right, Clary?
Totoo yan, dahil mahal na mahal naman yung mga SBN, ka-SBN natin. So, dito lang po sa ating Facebook community yung stream natin. And unfortunately, just a quick note po, no? Uh, dahil sa ating live stream app na ginagamit, hindi po natin mapapakita yung names kung makikita nyo ngayon kapag fina-flash natin yung comments ng ating mga ka-SBN Facebook user and generic profile photo lang yung nakikita nyo. So, dahil po yan sa limitation ng ating StreamYard app. But hopefully, moving forward, we'll be able to integrate a more efficient application for our live streaming para makita naman natin kung sino talaga yung pangalan at yung mukha ng ating ka-SBN na gustong malaman yung mga information na tinatanong nila.
Totoo. But nandun lang naman sila palagi sa ating SBN community. So for sure, kapag nakita natin yung questions nila, malalaman agad natin kung sino sila sa Facebook.
Mhm.
So yes, hindi nyo po ma-share ang ating live, pero pwede nyo naman pong i-invite yung inyong mga friends, colleagues, family to join us here sa ating SBN community, para sila rin po maliwanagan kung ano nga ba ang mga ins and outs ng pagnenegosyo, or kung may katanungan sila about sa pagnenegosyo. So, that's it. And let's head on to our first segment. Okay? So,
Let's go.
first question, Clarry. Marami din sa ating mga ka-SBN siguro ang gustong malaman ang sagot sa tanong na ito. Paano nga ba nagsimula ang entrepreneurial journey mo? Nakakabulod talaga yung word na yan.
Totoo. Pero yeah, I guess nagsimula yung entrepreneurial journey ko way back in college. Ever since college, very entrepreneurial na yung mindset ko. I joined an entrepreneurial organization in my university and doon talaga ako namulat in terms of starting a business, and doon ko na-realize na paglabas ko ng college, paglaki ko, college na, medyo malaki na ako noon. Pero paglabas ko ng college, gusto ko na magkaroon ng sarili kong business. So, nagsimula ako ng college, patry-try ako ng maliliit na businesses. So, yung pinakaunang business ko was a shirt brand. Directing or yung target audience namin was college students na mahilig mag-inom. So, ang tagline namin noon was love, boost, and everything in between. So, we were covering designs ng mga para sa college students, directing ko ano yung mga usual taglines or mga witty taglines. Parang may shirt brand ngayon na kagaya ng ganyan, linya-linya. So, ganun yung parang peg namin. But yeah, I started that business as parang trial. Kumbaga, para lang magkaroon ng experience na, okay, meron akong sinisimulan na business while I'm in college. I was not really a designer. So, during that time, I needed to find someone else. I realized na yung strength ko was in terms of marketing and yung pag-isip ng mga witty lines. So, one of my org mates was actually a graphic designer. He's really good. And I partnered up with him. Tapos yung main parang business model namin was, it was pre-order. Since we don't really have capital para mag-purchase ng mga supply for shirts, tapos mag-print in bulk ng designs namin. So, we release in batches or drops, kumbaga. So, that was my very first entrepreneurial, kung baga sa tawagin natin na trial. Then, during college, so for a few years, yun yung ginagawa namin, hindi siya ganun lumaki. So, again, that was for me to really experience what it's like running a business, even just a small business. So, sumunod nun, in college, dumating ako ng around 2019, I was doing my thesis and a few units left. I decided to work. So, nag-part-time work ako. And while I was doing school, meron akong part-time work. Yung pinakaunang work ko was an appointment setter for a company in the United States. Then, the interesting thing about that one is, on the first month of my job, I was fired. Na-fire ako dun
Wow,
sa job ko
bilis
because
naman, no?
uh, yun nga first month pa lang, as in first month, eksakto, na-fire ako. Totoo po to hindi ako nag-invento lang. I was fired because yung isang part ng task ko, I automated it, like in a sheet. So, pinabilis ko siya. Then, natulog ako kasi it was a graveyard shift. I was working between 11 p.m. Philippine time up until 7 a.m., 8 a.m. So nahuli ako ng may-ari ng company. Then I was fired. So I looked for another job and I found an Amazon VA job. So
Mhm.
during that time, I was also studying, nag-Amazon VA ako. At doon ako na expose in terms of sa e-commerce in a higher level, I think. Pwede ko
Mhm.
masabi yun. In terms of Amazon FBA, I'm sure may ilan sa mga ka-SBN natin na alam kung ano yung Amazon FBA. So, while I was working there, I tried to test out kung ano yung ginagawa ko sa mismong work ko. So, kasi I was part of the sourcing team. Ako yung nakikipag-communicate sa mga suppliers from China, Alibaba, tapos kami yung naghahanap ng mga products and mga suppliers. So I tried it to apply as my own business. So while I was working during that time, nag-try ako kasi meron kami university Facebook group na tinatawag na um, UPLB Marketplace. I'm not sure with regards to the name of the Facebook group, but meron kaming Facebook group for our university and doon parang marketplace siya. Maraming binebenta. So what I did was I tried to find some products sa tingin ko bebenta for college students. So tinitingnan ko ang ginawa ko noon, ano ba yung mga patok ngayon? And during that time, patok yung mga Foreo na facial cleaner. And I tried
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that.
facial cleaner. I tried to find a supplier in Alibaba for that particular product na very similar. So what I did was I contacted that supplier, which I learned from my job during that time. I tried to put up a post in our university marketplace group. And sinabi ko na, hey everyone, if naghahanap kayo ng same quality for Freo facial cleaner or yung facial
Mhm.
cleaner na brand na yun, I can put up a group buying. So parang magkakasabay na i-order ko in bulk. But of course, I have my markup during that time. So I
Mhm.
tried that parang uh, for a few months ginawa ko yon. Then I started to decide that I wanted to be in digital marketing. So I tried to find a job. I found a digital marketing training job or parang trainee ka for one agency based on BGC Taguig. So I was trained as a SEO specialist. So for 6 months, I was trained for that. And during that time, doon ko naman natutunan yung agency life. What's it like to work in a digital marketing agency? Doon ko natutunan kung ano ba yung galawan, operations of running a digital marketing agency because I was working directly with the founder and CEO of that agency. So nakita ko on what it takes and what it needs to run an agency in terms of sa team mo and as well as sa client-facing side. So from that part, I worked for that agency for like a year and a half. Then I decided to start my own digital marketing agency named AgentX Digital. So we're running AgentX Digital for a year now since I started doing full time as an entrepreneur. And from that time span, 1 year time span, I was able to increase. This was from a person without any connection, without any existing clients during that time. I was able to increase or to bring AgentX Digital into a seven-figure monthly recurring agency. So right now we have 23 team members. And ngayon, I started just recently my new company, which is Small Business Solutions, kung saan parte itong si SBN Philippines. And hoping that we could also start a revolution. More than the business model kasi, ito, maybe tinanong na nung ating ka-SBN kanina, ano po bang iba sa SBN? I think nakita ko yun kanina eh. What's unique about SBN? So, what's unique about SBN more than being a Facebook group and Facebook online community is that SBN would actually try to create an ecosystem of platforms and applications. Meaning, gagawa tayo ng mga applications at mga platform na para makatulong sa mga pangangailangan at mga problema ng ating mga ka-SBN at mga MSME sa Pilipinas. So, it's basically the center of the SBS ecosystem, kumbaga. And ang unique pa sa SBN is, yun nga, kagaya nito, magko-conduct tayo ng continuous events na makakatulong para ma-upskill at magkaroon ng transfer of knowledge between one business owner to another Filipino business owner. So yeah, basically that's my journey as an entrepreneur. I'm still going through my journey as an entrepreneur. I'm 24 years old, so medyo bata pa. Marami pa akong matututunan at gusto ko nakasabay ko sa pagtuto or if there's such a word or kasabay ko sa pag-grow yung ating mga ka-SBN, yung mga ibang MSME owner natin. Kasabay ng pag-grow ng SBN Philippines, yung pag-grow ng ating mga Filipino MSME owners.
Thank you, Clarry. Actually, sinagot mo na yung second question natin. Nung pinaliwanag mo, ba't mo ginawa ang SBN. Pero I have a question, no? Kasi you've mentioned you have
Mm,
23 members in your Agenix, tama ba? Agenix
mm.
company. How has it been handling a 23 uh, a team that's composed of 23 members compared sa nung, 'di ba, from being an employee, now may
Mm.
mga hinahandle ka ng mga tao. So how has that been?
Yeah, it's very different. Um, Kasi number one, you're not just responsible for your own life.
Mhm.
You're just not responsible para sa sarili mong income, right? So you are employing a number of people, and every decision mo with regards to your company, with regards to your business, could affect the status nitong mga employees natin, di ba? So, the added responsibilities there, number one, it's number one. Number two, of course, it's a learning process. Transitioning from an employee to a business owner, having multiple team members, it's a learning process in a way na matututunan mo kung paano makipagsalamuha ng tama sa iyong mga team
Mhm.
members. Because very important for a service-based business is yung pinaka-importanting resources mo is yung tao mo, yung employees mo. Kasi sila yung
Yeah.
gumagawa nung campaigns, sila yung gumagawa ng deliverables for your clients. So very important na number one, masaya sila sa ginagawa nila at na-enjoy at natututo sila growing in terms of their roles. So for me, ang isa sa mga sinabi ko, and this was part of my recent post here in Facebook, na employee satisfaction is as important as customer satisfaction. So, as business owners, it's our responsibility to make sure that our team members are growing in personal growth. Kasi of course, kung for example, hindi kayo magkakaroon ng shared vision, kumbaga na tinatawag,
Mhm.
with your employees, mahihirapan ka na dalhin sila through a difficult time in terms of your company. 'Di ba? Kung sakaling nandiyan lang sila nagwo-work lang dahil sa pera, then that's very hard for you. What if biglang magkaroon ng very mas magandang offer for that particular person? And yung
Yeah.
time na ginugol mo na for training, kailangan mo ulit siyang gawin, which is actually mas counterproductive sa'yo as a business owner. Mas gagastos ka ng resources sa'yo kung mabilis yung turnaround. I'm not actually sure if that's the right term, or yung pag-alis ng iyong mga team members. So that's one thing. You have to make sure and you have to adjust to make sure that nako-consider mo yung bawat team members ng iyong company or ng iyong business. So that's number one. Number two. Now, ang next siguro, ang pinaka-importante na natutunan ko in terms of running my own business and in terms of managing a team would be um, very important na meron kang personal connection sa mga team
Mhm.
members mo. If papasok kayo sa araw-araw, tapos papasok lang kayo dahil sa trabaho, hindi mo alam kung ano yung nangyayari sa buhay nila, then most likely, if you are on a service-based business or if you are kahit siguro sa e-commerce business, magre-reflect yon. Magre-reflect yon sa kliyente. Meaning, for example, baka maging ganun din yung trato ng mga team members mo para sa mga customers mo, which is bad for business. So, it starts from within in terms of your culture, right? It starts from within in terms of your connection. If you want your business to have a connection with your customers, you should have a connection with your team members. You should have a connection with your employees. So maybe that's basically the most important thing that I learned when I transitioned from an employee and to a business owner managing multiple team members. And mas naintindihan ko noon kung gaano kahirap ang mag-manage ng isang team.
For sure, especially now, na realize ko din, no, na tama yung
Mm,
sinabi mo na building rapport with your team members and strengthening that relationship, it will show, lalo na kung yung sabi
mm,
mo nga, di ba, sa deliverables. I think they would be more passionate with what they're doing kapag alam nilang they're loved by the community or the organization that they're in. And that's, I guess, one thing that our ka-SBNs should remember if ever they already have team members or mga
mm,
employees, no, or they plan to build a business that includes hiring people. And alam mo,
mm. If
Clary, Okay, go ahead, sorry.
For sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. If I might add, for our mga ka-SBN here who are planning to hire team members and employees for their business, one thing that you should also consider is team culture. Yes, important yung skills and experience when you are hiring a team member for your company. But you should also consider fit ba sila in terms of sa kung anong identity ng kumpanya or ng business na gusto mong gawin. Kasi if yung mga tao mo or yung mga employees mo for your business ay nagka-clash in terms of their principles, in terms of the ideologies, in terms of their personalities, then it will be much more unproductive for your
Mhm.
business. So that's one thing that also would like to note for our mga ka-SBN.
Aside from those advices, Clarry, ano pa ba yung mapapayo mo
Mm.
sa ating mga ka-SBN na nangangarap na magsimula ng kanilang mga sariling negosyo?
Sure, yeah. Actually, I was once in your position. Din sa mga ka-SBN natin na nangangarap magsimula ng negosyo. I remember if before ko sagutin yung tanong natin, mag-share lang ako ng experiences ko. I remember before graduating or before leaving college, I was thinking, I was asking myself, makakapagsimula kaya ako ng negosyo ko talaga when I go out of college and start being an adult? So, and right now, it still feels surreal that you are in the position right now na nakapagsimula ka na talaga ng negosyo mo and nag-run ka na ng negosyo mo. So maybe the best thing that I could advise for our aspiring entrepreneurs sa mga ka-SBN is number one, I have this framework na pino-follow in terms of learning and growing as an entrepreneur. Ito yung tinatawag ko na ALT or ALT framework. It stands for A, assess, L, learn, and T, try. So the first step of the framework is assess. You need to understand and know, be aware in terms of ano yung skills mo, right? Ano yung skills mo, ano yung kaya mong gawin, saan ka mahina, ano yung weaknesses mo. That's very important. As an entrepreneur, you need to be self-aware. So that's the first thing. Aside from that, you also need to assess kung ano yung existing resources mo. May capital ka ba na pwede mong gamitin para mag-start ng business? If wala, may existing connections ka ba? So for example, you are trying to start a poultry business. So iisipin mo, alam mo ba kung ano yung mga kailangan para mag-run ng isang poultry business? Meron ka bang existing knowledge para doon? So kapag nalaman mo na yun, so tapos na tayo dun sa assessment phase o assessment part ng ating framework. Kapag alam mo na yun, the next step is for you to learn. So alam mo yung weaknesses mo, alam mo yung mga kailangan mong dapat gawin at dapat malaman for running that particular business in that particular industry, you have to learn naman kung ano yung mga bagay na yon, right? You have to understand and to have the knowledge. Kasi otherwise, para kang sasabak sa gera na wala kang dalang armas. Paboritong sabihin niya ng lola ko. Para kang pupunta sa gera na ang dala mo ay ballpen, gano'n. So, very important for you to make sure that you have acquired the knowledge needed for running that particular business. So, if hindi mo pa nagagawa yon, number one, very important for you to try to get resources that would help you learn from it. Right now, very patok in digital marketing. A lot of people are transitioning from employees to freelancers to agency owners. And isa sa pinakamaganda ngayon is we have a vast resource. We have a lot of chances to get free resources across the internet. So, dapat lang kailangan mo sipag, tiyaga, commitment for you to basically come up with the knowledge that you'll be needing. So, yung skills natututunan yan. But the most important thing would be work ethic and commitment sa isang entrepreneur. So, that's very important. Now, once you're done with the learning phase, kailangan mo namang itry yan. So, you almost always, unang beses na magsa-start ka ng business, you'll fail. Very high percentage na hindi ka magsasucceed sa unang business na gagawin mo. So, one thing that you have to understand is don't be discouraged in terms of, sige, magtatry akong business na to, tapos nag-fail, balik na lang ako pagiging employee. Well, one thing to note is not all of us has the capacity to fail, diba? Some of us are breadwinners. Some of us are tayo yung nagpo-provide sa family natin. So that's why it's very important also to make sure that you take calculated risks, right? Dapat alam mo, may roadmap ka, hindi ka lang tatalon sa bangin na wala kang plano? What if hindi gumana yung parachute mo? Well, medyo pangit na analogy yon. Pero that's very important for you to have a backup plan. Always assume na things will not go according to your plan. And one thing that I also would like to share is that don't be pressured. Maybe, especially at the age of 20, early 20s to late 20s. Very, very difficult yan dahil iba-iba yung pacing ng bawat isa sa circle mo. May ibang kakilala ka, kinakasal na, may ibang kakilala ka, successful sa business, may ibang kakilala ka, graduate pa lang ng college. So, you have to also understand that you should work on your own pace, right? It's very hard to manage your pressure sa sarili. But as an entrepreneur, again, very important to be self-aware. To be aware that you are competing with yourself and not with anybody else, right? So that's very important. And always, as I shared earlier, always try to utilize and hone your skills, right? If you are currently an employee working for this particular firm and you are interested in that field, wag kang titigil na, okay, ito yung daily life ko, yung skills ko, ina-apply ko lang para sa company nito. Try to apply it for your own business. Try to start a sideline. Or maybe if you are good in social media marketing, try to get some freelance clients. Then from there on, unti-untiin mo. So for those ka-SBN natin na walang luxury of just starting a business out of nowhere because they have the capital, because they don't have families to feed. That's one tip that I could share. Be methodical. Make sure that you have a roadmap planned and apply the ALT framework. And that ALT framework is not linear. Meaning, hindi pagkatapos ng assessment mo, learning phase, try agad. Posibleng mag-assess ka, mag-learn ka, bumalik ka sa assessment. Parang hindi pala ito yung para sa akin. Parang hindi ko pala kaya. One hard truth na kailangan nating matutunan for entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. Know when to realize na hindi ito para sa'yo. Kasi minsan, actually, guilty din ako sa sakit nito eh. Parang, sobrang hard-headed ko. Yung idea ko parang, feeling ko maganda itong idea nito. Sige, tapos, bago mo ma-realize na hindi pala ito para sa'yo, sobrang daming resources, sobrang daming effort, or sobrang dami mo nang nagawa nung nag-fail siya. So, very important again to be self-aware and to make sure that you know your strengths and weaknesses and to work on your weaknesses.
Thank you, Clarry. Ngayon, napapaisip mo ko, parang nasa assess phase pa
Assessment
lang
phase ka
ako.
na.
Mga 1 year na. Hindi ko pa alam kung anong plans ko for business. But thank you for
It's
sharing
okay.
that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Work on your own pace.
Oo nga eh. Kasi, syempre, like you mentioned, huwag ka ma-pressure sa ibang tao kung may nakikita mo yung business na nagtathrive. Because, iba-iba kasi tayo ng kung paanong nagiging successful yung business. Like yung iba na at a young age, because of social media, doon nila napa-grow yung mga businesses nila. So, ang dami rin talagang factors. And, sabi mo nga, diba, know when to give up. So, kailangan talaga, hindi tayo as hard-headed as Clarry before, I guess.
Yep.
So yes, thank you for that, Clarry. Ngayon, another advice. Ano namang advice ang mabibigay mo sa ating mga ka-SBN na naapektuhan ng pandemya?
Alright, so para sa mga ka-SBN natin na naapektuhan ng pandemya, I'm sure almost all or karamihan sa atin sa buong Pilipinas naapektuhan ng pandemya. And right now, we're slowly getting back to normal. May air quotations yon. So, para sa mga ka-SBN natin na negosyante na naapektuhan ng pandemya, unang-una, the pandemic has really made people realize the importance of being digital. Right now,
Totoo.
being digital or being online is not an advantage. It's a prerequisite. It's a requirement. You need to be online because lahat ng competitors mo nasa online. Right? Most likely, most of your audiences are online. And for you to be not there, it means that ikaw yung napapag-iwanan. So again, being digital, being online right now is not an advantage, it's a requirement. So, very important for our mga ka-SBN na apektuhan ng pandemya to start thinking of how you could create your presence or amplify your presence online. So for example, if you are a local business, meron akong quickly ipapakita dito sa screen share natin. If you are a local business, meron tayong tinatawag na Google My Business. So ito yung parang listing directory website ni Google. It's for free. You can create your own profile for free. So kapag nagsa-search, for example, yung isang tao naghahanap ng restaurant, mainly isa-search mo, for example, ako maghahanap ng restaurant dito sa QC. Restaurants QC or Best Restaurants QC. And ito most likely yung lalabas sa Google. Itong Maps pack na tinatawag natin. So if you are a local business owner, you should always consider, or not always consider, but you should have your own Google My Business profile. And itong Google My Business profile, isa lang yan. Sa sobrang daming profiles na pwede mo ma-create online. So you need to be present doon sa social media platforms natin ngayon, especially Facebook, TikTok. Right now, sobrang laking boom ng short form content. And as a business
Totoo.
owner, you should start creating short form content because that's where the trend is. Kagaya nga nasabi ni Mr. Chinkitan nung ating launch event na you should be on TikTok right now. Kasi andun lahat ng tao papunta. And that's true enough. If you are an e-commerce store, very important for you to start producing short form content in your TikTok and repurpose it across your social channels. Right? For example, hindi mo na, kunyari, hindi ka magaling. Hindi ka magaling for creating videos. You should start practicing. Ako, hindi ako comfortable noon in terms of appearing sa videos. Ayaw ko nakikita yung mukha ko sa internet, sa mga post. But as an entrepreneur, it's part of the process. You should start learning to create and be present online because kung hindi, mapag-iiwanan ka. So, that's one main suggestion or tip ko para sa ating mga ka-SBN. Pangalawa, we should reassess our business. That's actually every month we should have this assessment. Balikan mo yung business mo during the pandemic. Tingnan mo saan ka pinaka-naapektuhan. For example, naapektuhan ka, bumaba yung number of orders mo for that month. So, tingnan mo yung ibang aspect ng business mo kung saan pwede mong i-improve. For example, bumaba yung orders mo, maybe one thing that you could do is try to bring down the cost of your supplies or inventory. So, paano mo gagawin yun? Of course, you have to do the research in terms of supply management. But yeah, you have to be able to adjust and learn. So as an entrepreneur, very important sa atin na we go out of our comfort zone even if hindi natin gustong gawin to para sa ikakabuti ng business mo. Try mong matutunan, gawin mo. And the most important thing that I learned running a business for the previous years is that stop thinking about how you could make your idea perfect. Just execute it as long as you have the framework that you know na ito yung mismong foundation ng idea mo. Start to implement it, then just iterate and improve. Right? Meaning, dati actually ako, na sakit ko din yan eh. Hindi ko muna ilo-launch yung business ito kasi gusto ko may website na ako. Hindi ko muna ilo-launch yung business ito kasi parang gusto ko integrated na yung parang may automatic way na for payments. No. Just start your business, simulan mo, maraming platforms dyan online na pwede mong gamitin for free, then just improve. Right? In that way, mas maaga kang matututo in terms of the nitty-gritty ng business mo. Kasi if you're just doing everything by concept, most likely, mapapatagal ka lang, saka mo lang din marirealize during that time na, okay, ito pala dapat yung ginawa ko. So, again, if you are a business owner or you're an aspiring business owner, sabi nga ni Nike, just do it. Just implement your plan, right? Stop thinking how you could make your ideas perfect. Just implement, execute, then iterate, and improve. So, that's one thing that I could advise to our mga ka-SBN.
Thank you, Clarry. And you've mentioned na yung sa paggagawa ng website, hindi naman agad kailangan may website yung business mo, right? Na-realize ko lang sa Instagram kasi I've been seeing stores na dati ang liit-liit lang with small followings. Pero ngayon, meron na silang website where you can order pero dati kailangan mo lang sila, i-message mo lang sila. So that shift, makikita mo na hindi naman sila agad nag-aim for something na siguro hindi pa nila kaya because binabayaran kapag may website. So yeah, tama yung sinabi mo na you should take it slow and just do it kung ano man yung plans nyo for now. Okay, and last question, Clarry, for you. Ano ang isang bagay na natutunan mo sa pagnenegosyo, given that you have two businesses right now?
Yeah, actually for that nabanggit ko na, nadaanan ko na 'to kanina, eh. Pero of course, I need to reiterate this because I think a lot of our SBN community members would need to hear this. Again, first one, you have to have the capacity. If you are starting a business, you should always consider this as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, right? If you have the capacity to hire someone else to complement yung weaknesses and strengths mo, do it, right? But if you don't have the capacity to do that, then there's no option for you but to learn it. Maybe sabihin mo, hindi ako ganun kagaling sa social media. Try just doing it for first, then eventually, for sure, matututunan mo yan. That's how skills are developed. That's how you become great at something. By being not great at it at the first time and just consistently and being committed on doing that thing. So sa social media, if you're not good, actually meron tayong isang ano dito eh. Meron tayong isang ka-SBN dito na nagtanong na how could we open doors online? Si Miss Tony Lovegood. Ganda na ang apelido niya, Lovegood. So how could we open our
Bagay yan.
doors online or virtually to our customers if wala naman kaming talent in social media marketing? So again, as mentioned earlier, Miss Tony, number one, if you have the capacity to hire someone to handle, maraming freelancers ngayon. Onlinejobs.ph, pwede kang tumingin. Or if you have friends, you can have an agreement with them. Okay, could you handle my social media page? Tapos, of course, you have to agree on terms kung paano yung magiging hatian nyo or partnership. So that's one. Actually, kagaya nung ginawa ko nung unang business ko. I'm not good at graphic design, but I'm good at thinking of witty lines. I think I claim that. So I tried to find someone else who can handle the creation of graphics for me. And we went into a partnership. That's one thing. That's one option for you to do. But again, if you don't have the capacity, if you don't have the resources and capital to hire someone else to do the things that you're not good at, then start learning that thing. As an entrepreneur, kailangan mong gawin yan. You have to go out of your comfort zone. Start learning, start doing, and eventually you improve. That's one thing. So there are a lot of resources across the internet. Social media marketing, parang every other day, nakakakita ko ng bagong website na nagpo-produce ng content about social media marketing. So just search on Google, social media marketing courses. You'll see a lot of resources for free. And that's part of your assignment as an entrepreneur, to learn. Kasi otherwise, you'll be stuck on that ideology na, hindi ako magaling dyan, hindi ko kaya yan. Paano na? So, for Miss Tony Lovegood, you could message me on our chat or maybe on Facebook or post ka lang sa ating SBN community. I'll be giving you a list of resources that could help you improve your social media marketing skills. So that's one. Then another, maybe pinaka natutunan ko sa negosyo, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, and paulit-ulit, recurring topic to, recurring message na sinasabi ko. Again, stop thinking on how you could make your ideas perfect. Start doing so as you can improve and learn as early as possible. Maraming entrepreneur nagsasabi ng fail fast. Meaning, failing is equal to learning. But if you're someone who don't have the capacity to fail because you're a breadwinner, because you have a family to feed, you don't have the capital to do it, then one thing that you could do is to do the same approach I did. Find a job within the industry that you would like to start a business on. So, once you're accepted on the job, learn the day-to-day operations. Learn yung lahat ng skills. Yung lahat ng skills na ituturo sa'yo for your training on that job, try to apply it ng paunti-unti as a freelancer or on the side, as a side hustle. 9 to 5, you're building your career. Then afterwards, 6 to 12 midnight, you're building your empire. Yun yung nga sinasabi sa TikTok. Pero that's true. That's true. You have to have the commitment. You have to have the courage to start. You have to have the appetite for the risk na posibleng hindi mag-fly yung business mo, but you have to have the roadmap. You have to have the plans, especially if you're someone who don't have the capacity to fail a lot of times.
Thank you, Clarry. I forgot to ask a while ago. With the planning of SBN, ano yung mga sinabi mo sa sarili mo na hindi mo na uulitin when you were planning Agenix?
Okay. So yung mga bagay na yun, maybe, actually, this is a great question. I haven't really thought of this yet. But maybe yung isang bagay na yun was, number one, on how I was first fixated in terms of the possibility of earning big as an entrepreneur. That's one thing. If that is your main driving factor, then eventually you'll be burned out, right? You have to have the passion. You have to enjoy what you're doing if you start a business. So as in the long run, hindi mo ma-realize sa sarili mo. Kasi once you have that enough money, if that's your only main motivating factor, ma-realize mo sa sarili, okay na yung, okay na yung kita ko. Most likely, magiging disconnected ka na sa business mo. Right? Especially if you have a big team. And most of the time, that will be bad for your company. That will be bad for your business. Right? There are instances na nagiging successful pa rin yung business, even very disconnected, yung business owner, especially for large corporations. That's because they are large corporations. But if you are a small business, you have to be there. You have to be with your employees, right? So that's number one. Then second part would be in terms of hiring. In terms of hiring dati, a lot of my first set of employees were my friends. And maybe, may instances din na experience to ng ating mga ka-SBN na yung, of course, yung mga kakilala mo, comfortable ka na, sila yung i-hire mo. But of course, given na may skills sila. Diba? But of course, given na may skills sila. But sometimes, there are instances na nagiging blurry yung distinction between a friend and being a team member within a company. So of course, hindi dahil business owner ka, hindi dahil ikaw yung nag-employ sa kanila, you act like a boss. Of course, you still have to make sure that you have the right treatment for your team members, for your employees. But sometimes, you have to also realize that dadating yung point sa business mo that you have to onboard outside people. You have to hire people with the skills, of course, and not just with your mga own circle mo. Because with that, magiging limited yung growth ng company mo within your own circle as well. Diba? So, one thing that I realized before was maybe I should start opening the doors. Pangit ng term, but opening the doors of hiring for outside people. Lalaki. At mas nadami yung, at mas magiging diverse. Actually, that's one thing. Mas magiging diverse yung culture mo sa kumpanya mo or sa business mo. And mas magiging mahirap i-maintain yung coherence and yung culture mo. So that's part of being a business owner, managing a team, learning. That's one skill that you will be needing if you want to grow your company. You have to learn how to deal and manage people.
Thank you, Clarry. That's the end of our first segment. That was the prepared questions for Clarry. No? Ngayon, dito sa ating second segment, yung mga kakasali lang po dito sa ating AMA session, yung ating second segment, mga questions po ito na nanggaling sa ating mga ka-SBN na kami po ang pumili. So this is a total of 5 questions na kinoment ng ating mga ka-SBN from the AMA announcement post. And Clarry, this is the first question for you. Nakainom ka na ng tubig? Mukhang prepared ka na ulit for our second segment. First question from Kate Andrea Sotalbo. Kate, I hope you're here watching. Ano-ano pa ang social media channels na pwedeng gamitin para sa aming online selling? Pwede po ba kayo mag-share ng mga strategies para maging effective yung pagtitinda namin?
Ngayon, biggest would be TikTok, right? Especially for e-commerce, TikTok, sobrang taas ng chances of virality, right? Across all social media channels dyan, pinakamaganda for virality yung algorithm ni TikTok. Kasi you don't really need to follow a page for you to see them in your social media, in your page or FYP, kumbaga, yun yung term ni TikTok, yung FYP natin. And that's one thing that Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook is integrating in terms of their algorithm. If napapansin nyo, recently nagbago sa Twitter. Di ba, dati yung fina-follow lang natin, yung nakikita natin tweets. Ngayon, kung sino-sino na, mapapansin nyo.
Yung mga popular tweets.
Yeah, na
Oo.
within your interest. So that's part of the algorithm, and that's very important for you to take note. TikTok is the best platform for virality, right? Especially for short content. Ngayon, if makikita natin paunti na at paikli na ng paikli ang span ng mga tao.
Totoo.
So one thing that you need to note of is in these social media platforms, if you are producing content, and you should produce content for your business, 5 to 15 seconds dapat, or actually even shorter, 3 seconds dapat ma-pick mo ng interest ng
Mhm.
audiences mo. So you have to be in TikTok. That's one thing. That's my recommendation for everyone. You have to be in TikTok, especially if you're an e-commerce business. So you have to be there. Number two, of course, Facebook, IG. Maganda sa Facebook and sa IG, if you are an online seller and e-commerce business, they have this internal functionality of products, right? Sa Facebook, you can put up your catalog, your shop. And actually, sa Facebook, may marketplace din. So, Facebook right now has really integrated e-commerce into their social media network. You can see how Facebook evolved from being just a social network to being multiple faceted platform. May marketplace, ngayon,
Kahit ano pwede mo nang gawin.
mhm, community, di ba? So actually, itong SBN community natin ay nasa Facebook. So you have to be in TikTok, you have to be in Facebook, especially if you're in e-commerce, and especially if you don't have a website, right? If you have the additional capital to put up a website, you can put up one. But one thing that you should ask yourself, kasi one thing, ito, nagdaan din ako dito eh. Nung college ako, gusto ko magkaroon ng website. Kasi parang feeling ko legit ako kapag may website ako. Tapos, di ba? Totoo yan. Maraming mga business owners sa atin. Siguro may mga makaka-relate sa akin ngayon. Nung college ako, ito, experience ko ta. Gusto ko magka-website kasi parang feeling ko legit. Parang ang ganda ng business mo. Parang ang laki ng business mo kapag may website ka. But one thing that you should ask yourself is, what will be the value of your website? Right? Ano ba yung mapoprovide nitong value sa business mo? Number one, mas may marireach ka bang audience dahil sa website mo, and that's related to SEO. So SEO could be a different topic. Yung pwede mong integrate sa website mo para mas madali yung workflow mo as a seller, as an entrepreneur. For example, magwe-website ka dahil gusto mong i-automate yung payment integration mo para hindi ka naman mano-mano na magme-message sa Messenger or sa Viber na pasend ng payment link, ito po yung payment details, tapos pasend lang screenshot, then bibigay mo. Sa website, pwede mo siyang i-automate. Connect nila yung PayPal nila, bigay nila yung credit card number nila or yung debit card number nila, then it will be processed automatically. So, one thing that you have to understand also, if you are aiming to put up a website, is you should have an additional value on your website para sa existing framework or para sa existing workflow mo. Otherwise, additional cost lang yan. Kakain lang yan sa margins mo as a business owner, right? So, if you are thinking of having a website, then you could actually create a website for free. Meron si Google na tinatawag na Google Sites. Search nyo lang, i-comment ko dito sa ating comment section. Actually, hindi pala tayo pwede mag-comment sa comment section natin. But ipapakita ko dito sa ating screen, Google Sites. Ito si Google Sites. This is a free website builder ni Google. Search nyo lang yan sa Google, tapos may makikita kayo dyan. Para siyang Google Forms, pero website yung binubuo mo. So, if you are aiming to start a website ng walang cost, you can use that. But again, if you are an online seller, you should be on TikTok for your videos. You should be on Facebook for your shop functionalities for free. So, aside from that, in terms of strategies na pwede mong gawin, number one, or this is not actually strategy, but general steps that you should take for you to improve your online visibility and to increase your chances of being a successful online seller. Number one is you should know your audience. Very general tong topic or yung tip na to. Know your audience. But it's true. It's the basic thing that you should understand when running a business. Sino ba yung binebentahan mo? Right? Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, binebentahan ko lahat, pwedeng bumili. Pwedeng lahat bumili, oo, pero dapat kilala mo kung sino talaga yung kinakausap mo ng brand mo. Sino yung talagang gusto mong bumili, yung ideal na customer mo. And mas defined siya, mas better. Meaning, if kilala mo talaga, for example, I'm trying to sell to college students na mahilig mag-inom, yun yung pinakaunang target audience namin dun sa sa aming online shop noon, nung college ako. Having a niche na tinatawag natin, NICHE, you can search on it on Google, niche na tinatawag namin, would be more beneficial for your business. Kasi mas defined yung binibentahan mo, mas magkakaroon ng identity yung brand mo if you are working on your branding, or for example, isang posibleng target audience, for example, before I came across a website selling products for um, mga panot. Sorry, for the lack of better term. Mga hair loss, may hair loss sa mga tao, and they were selling millions. So, if iisipin mo, ganoon para kadami yung mga taong bumibili nun. So, you have to identify your audience, identify a niche, tapos you should take ownership of that niche. Mas madaling mag-communicate sa yung audience kung alam mo at kilala mo kung sino talaga yung pinaka-kinakausap mo. Pangalawa, start producing video content. Integrated yan dun sa tip ko na TikTok. Start doing TikTok. Start producing video content. Start, as an entrepreneur, you should start being comfortable facing a video camera, creating content, speaking. Because right now, doon papunta ang lahat ng terms of content. Right? Short form content, as mentioned earlier sa TikTok. Pangatlo, maraming online sellers ngayon yung sumikat dahil sa entertainment value. Diba? Yung iba, nagbebenta lang sila.
Yeah.
Online selling lang sila, papakita mo lang, ito yung binibenta namin. Pero ngayon, may iba sumasayaw na, may iba kumakanta na.
May music
May
na.
isang sumikat ngayon. True. May isang sumikat ngayon si Madam Inuts, di ba? Sumikat siya, hindi dahil sa product niya, pero dahil on how she sells during her live selling. So, right now, dahil sa sobrang daming online sellers, the name of the game ngayon in Facebook is entertainment value. How you could integrate your entertainment value, or how you could add entertainment value in your online live selling. So, maybe you have a talent, I'm not sure. But again, mainly, magiging trial and error to. The best thing about this one is, or the most important thing about this one is, you should not stop dahil nag-fail ka sa unang try mo. Dahil nag-fail ka sa unang strategy mo. Again, dito papasok yung commitment and consistency. Right? So kung hindi tayo naging patok nung una, try ka ng iba, brainstorm. Back to the drawing board. Brainstorm ko ulit. Okay, ano ba yung pwede kong bagong gawin na wala pa? Do a competitive audit. Tingnan mo yung mga competitors na sumikat. One thing that you could do, if sa Pilipinas ka nakalocate, tapos pwede ka maghanap sa US ng similar type of business, similar nature of business, tingnan mo kung anong ginagawa nila. Right? Tapos tingnan mo sa Pilipinas, i-juxtapose mo. Sorry for the term, juxtapose. Tingnan mo sa Pilipinas, may gumagawa ba akong competitor nito? If wala, you can use that blueprint. You can follow that same roadmap. So, very important for you to check your competitors, right? Not just your immediate competitors, but maybe you could also check other businesses in other locations, in other market, and tingnan mo kung ano yung best practices na ginagawa nila and try to apply it yourself, right? So, that's number 3. Number 4, testimonials. If you are an online seller, marami ngayon, scam. Marami ngayon, pagkabayad, tatakbo na. So, very important for you to create trust with your target customers, right? And one way for that is testimonials, right? So, if you have a Facebook store, if you have a Facebook account, pwede mong gawin, may review section sa Facebook, sa page. So, encourage your customers to leave a review on your products, right? So, very important yan dahil it lessens the uncertainties of a customer. So parang it would improve yung possibility that they would transact with you because they have seen that you have successful transactions with other buyers before. If you have Instagram, you can do screenshots of their, pinaka-effective yung screenshots kasi hindi siya mukhang dinaya. Screenshots of your review, parang pagkabayad nila sa'yo, pagkakuha nila ng product, always ask after a few days kapag na-notify ka na, na-deliver na nung delivery courier nyo. Hi Therese, kamusta yung product? Na-enjoy mo ba? Tapos sabihin, yes, ang ganda ng product. Tapos, is it okay ba na, of course, you should always ask permission. Is it okay ba na i-feature ko or i-screenshot ko to just to share na you enjoyed our product and yon. So, creating testimonials and social proof in general would add value to your business. It would lessen the traction in terms of with your customers na magdududa sila legit ba to or hindi. So that's number 4. Number 5, if you have the budget, do paid ads. Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads. TikTok ads ngayon, medyo effective na talaga siya. So, if you have the budget, again, if you have the budget, do paid ads. It would speed up. You would reach a much larger audience, right? There are a lot of free resources in the internet. Facebook is even providing a free course for doing Facebook ads. Just search Facebook ads course. So, merong tinatawag si Facebook na I think Facebook Blueprint. Yun yung name ng course nila. You can take your Facebook ads na course. If you don't have the budget for spending sa ads, then you have to be creative, right? You can do collaborations. You can do collaborations with influencers. Minsan may mga influencers na padalahan mo lang sila ng product nila, tapos na-appreciate at nagandahan sila. If i-feature nila yon, i-mention nila. But not necessarily influencers eh. If you have a Facebook friend, if may connection ka, na medyo sikat, like sikat ng college, maraming nagpa-follow kasi parang famous siya.
Aesthetic yung mga posts.
Yeah, diba? And if they cohere, this is very important hindi lang tayo basta kukuha ng influencer or magtatap ng someone to promote our product. It's very important na yung audience nila, yung followers nila, coheres with your target market. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to understand, okay, itong kakilala ko, sikat siya. Let's say for example, ito, streamer, gamer. Yung binibenta ko ay, for example, para sa matatanda.
Joke. Akala ko connected sa gaming.
Hindi related sa gaming. Binibenta ko para sa matatanda, for example. Of course, yung audience ng influencer mo would not cohere to the product that you're promoting. So very important for you to make sure that when you reach out to these influencers, to these people who could promote your product, dapat alam mo din na nagko-cohere yung audience nila sa'yo. Otherwise, it would be like pointless. Diba? So, other strategies actually sobrang dami. Very important for you as an online seller to make sure that you are constantly upskilling and learning about digital marketing. Because digital marketing is everyday evolving, right? Nagbabago yung algorithms nito mga social media na to. Nagbabago yung trends sa bawat social media. So you have to be agile. You have to make sure that you will be updated and you will adapt to what's currently working. For example, dati Facebook yung biggest. Ngayon, by the looks of it, TikTok will be one of the biggest social media platforms. So you have to be there. You have to start producing content. So that's one. Yeah, that's the list of initial comments or tips that I could give for online sellers.
Thank you, Clarry. And you've mentioned about connecting with influencers. Actually, thesis ko yan. how social media influencers organically promote the products of micro businesses. So yung sinabi mo na papadala na product, ang tawag nila doon X deals. So usually yung mga X deals na yon, hindi mo naman sila pwedeng sabihan na, uy, sana maganda yung you put a good word about my product. So kapag nag-X deal ka with influencers, talagang depende sa kanila kung ano yung magiging feedback nila about about the product. And actually, Clarry, may connected kasi na question, nakikita ko na dito sa comment section. I don't know if you are seeing it, pero later on na ba natin to
sige, let's flash it para
sige. So,
hindi natin yung thought.
Since you've mentioned about reviews, paano naman kapag negative reviews, sabi nitong ating mga ka-SBN? Paano mo mapapanatili ang magandang online reputation?
All right, that's very important. Very good question. Paano kung marami kang negative reviews sa shop mo, sa product mo? That gives you an idea that you're not doing well in terms of your product. You're not doing well in terms of your customer service. And that's a signal for you as a business owner to start improving what you're doing, right? So, let's say for example, of course, hindi natin maiiwasan, nagsisimula ka pa lang, medyo hindi mo pa nakuha, nagkaroon ka ng problema in terms of supplier, sa product, very important for you to reach out to your customer. right? Ang isang ginagawa namin in terms of our clients, whenever we receive, in terms of our digital marketing agency, whenever we receive negative reviews in our online directory platforms, ang ginagawa ng client namin, or ginagawa namin for our client is, we reach out to that person, best if yung mismong business owner talaga. It shows sincerity. But if you're a big business na, of course, you will have someone delegated for
To reach
that kind
out.
of online reputation management. But if you receive a bad review, number one, don't be hostile. Right? Don't just, hindi, ganito, ganyan, ganyan. You have to be understanding in terms of what your customer experience. Customers may not always be right, but you should always consider what your customers are saying. So, for example, yun nga, naka-receive ka na ng bad review para sa product mo or sa shop mo, reach out to them in a very nice manner, ask mo, "Hi, Therese, nakita ko that you reviewed 3 stars or 2 stars for our shop. I'm very sorry for whatever yung kung anong minention. I'm very sorry for your inconvenience or kung ano man yung na-experience mo. I'd like to get an idea if it will be okay for me to offer you. This is part of running a business, ah. Like, we should also consider yung cost for this kind of instances. Is it okay if bigay ako ng for free na product or meron akong particular discount na lang na ibibigay
Mm.
sa'yo? You should reach out to them to try to, number one, address their concern, address the problem that they experience, and provide something else na i-offer mo sa kanila in exchange for them to update their review, right? So, well, of course, hindi mo na sila pipiliin, "Hoy, i-update mo tong review ko." Not that way. Lalo ka lang, and that reflects your character as an entrepreneur. You should always understand ano yung naging problema, and hindi dun matatapos. Hindi siya matatapos na-update niyo yung review, naging okay na, tapos na. Balikan mo, ano naging problema? If you have your team members, okay, let's circle back, ano nangyari dun sa product? Bakit naging ganito? Bakit hindi na meet yung gusto ng client natin? Then improve. These reviews are providing feedback to you for you to use, right? These reviews are provided to you for you to improve your business. So if you are getting a lot of negative reviews, it says a lot about your product. It says a lot about your customer service. So you have to go back to the drawing board and make sure that all of your business processes are aligned. If hindi ka sure kung saan nangyari yung mali, then kailangan mo siyang balikan talaga. Kailangan mong isa-isahin.
Mm.
If nakita mo na pinpoint mo na saan nagkamali, you have to have next steps. Ano yung action plan mo to improve that? To make sure that hindi na mangyayari yon for our clients. Yan.
Thank you, Clarry. And ang gusto lang naman talaga ng mga customers and is to be heard. No? So we as mga negosyantes, or you guys as negosyante, since wala pa akong negosyo, you should learn how to listen kasi nasabi nga ni Clarry, di ba? It shows a lot about how you are handling your business and most especially your customers. And since we're in the topic of customers, may tanong si Angel Briones. What is the best way to establish a strong and long-term customer relationship for small
Yan.
or micro-scale businesses?
Very, very connected yung tanong natin. So, excuse me. For you to establish a good relationship with your customers, number one, pinaka-basic at pinaka-kailangan mong gawin is to provide good product or good service, meet their expectations. If sinabi mo na itong product na to, mapapaputi ka in 30 days, make sure that your claim is right. Otherwise, madidisappoint sila sa product mo and mawawalan sila ng tiwala sa'yo as a business and sa'yo as a product. So,
And
that's a
FDA approved.
prerequisite.
Sure.
Yeah. Maraming brands yung ginagawa yan eh. Like, they claim a lot of things, but in reality, they're not.
Hindi
Now,
talaga.
posibleng hindi sila mahuhuli legally, but mahuhuli ka ng customers mo. Malalaman na nila na hindi totoo yung claims mo. So, if you are a business, very important, ito yung tinatawag natin na customer satisfaction. Meeting the promises that you said to your customers, to your clients. So, that's the prerequisite of creating long-lasting relationship as a micro or small business. Especially, kunyari, online seller ka, tapos yung mga binibigay mo na product was defective. Of course, hindi na bibili sa'yo yan. Hindi na babalik sa'yo yan. Iiwan ka pa nga ng bad reviews niyan eh. Diba? Or isasabihin pa niya, magpo-post pa yan sa mga community, huwag kayong bibili dito. Sira lahat ng binibenta niya. So, that's a prerequisite. Now, the next step is for us to bring or to turn this customer satisfaction into customer delight, meaning surpassing their expectations. So, for example, pinangako mo yung product mo, mapapaputi ka in 30 days. Tapos napaputi ka in 10 days. Of course, as a customer ako, tuwan-tuwa ako. At pumuti na ako in 10 days agad-agad. Sabi nito 30 days. That's satisfaction. That's customer delight. Going beyond what you promised. But hindi lang naman technically sa mismong value ng product yung pwede mong gawin in terms of customer satisfaction. Meron tayong tinatawag na augmented product. So for example, yung binebenta mo talaga is a laptop. Tapos yung augmented product dyan, yung lahat ng nakakabit sa pagbenta mo ng laptop. Customer service, right? Kasama din dyan yung maintenance. I'm not actually sure with regards to the right term. Hindi siya maintenance eh. Yung pag-ayos ng parts, warranty. Yeah, warranty. So ito yung tinatawag na augmented product natin. So in terms of creating customer delight, one thing that you could do in terms of strategies, very specific tactics na pwede mong gawin. Number one, loyalty programs. Right? Of course, again, prerequisite na kailangan na-meet mo yung pinapangako mo sa mga customers mo. Pangalawa, pwede mong gawin, yun nga, tactic mo, magkaroon ka ng loyalty program. For example, meron akong barbershop dati na lagi kong pinapagupitan. And every 10 times ako nagpagupit sa kanila. Yeah, may card. Iisipin mo, small business pa lang ako, hindi ko kayang gawin yon. Well, you can do virtual cards. Not necessarily kailangan mag-produce ka or pwede kang gawin mo lang na tally mo. Itali mo, okay, ilang beses itong bumili, ilang beses itong kumuha ng product sa akin. Then after 10 buys, after 10 products na nabili mo, pwede mo siyang bigyan ng discount. Or even just small gestures. If you are a micro business, handwritten cards for small businesses. Because I assume for micro and small businesses, you have more time for you to spend directly dun sa produkto mo. Hindi pa siya ganun ka-delegated. Hindi pa siya ganun ka-automated. So, a lot of customers, especially dun sa girlfriend ko, na-realize ko na whenever order siya online, then nakaka-receive siya ng mga ganung card, mas natutuwa siya. She has this human connection with the brand. That's one thing that you could also do. So loyalty cards, yung mga ganung tipo. And aside from that, creating personal connection, as mentioned yung second part, creating personal connection, humanizing your brand. Kagaya ng, for example, if you're just posting on social media na, okay, ito yung product namin, sale. Ganun lang. You're not connecting with your audience. It's like you're just selling to them. Parang ikaw yung weird person na lalapit ka lang para bentahan yung tao. Lalapit ka lang para pag may kailangan yung tao. So, you have to have that, in terms of social media marketing, you have to have that content pillars to connect with your audience, to nurture your audience. So, pwede kang magkaroon in terms of social media, pwede kang magkaroon ng mga content about, for example, you are an online clothing store. Pwede kang magkaroon ng content about reviews kapag may Met Gala. Review mo yung mga suot nila. So, it could provide as a tactic for you, could lead to virality if in case man sobrang interesting yung post mo. Aside from that, nakikita ng customers mo, hindi ka lang dito para magbenta. Andito ka to provide knowledge, andito ka to connect with your audiences. For example, itong event natin, we would want to put a face in terms of your brand, especially if it's a service-based business. So, aside from that, ano pa ba yung mga ibang strategies natin in terms of creating customer satisfaction? So again, if you are a small and micro small business, you should come up with creative ways on how you could connect with your customers and how you could provide additional value for your customers. So, aside from that, of course, basic na yun. Provide mo kung ano yung pinangako at kailangan ng mga customers mo. Yeah.
Thank you, Clarry. And dahil sa sinabi mo, naalala ko, may isa akong store sa Shopee. Sino bang mga ka-Shopee ko dito? Hello? Sa kada bili mo ng product nila, may libre na ipit. At dahil dun sa ipit na yun, marami akong nabili. Kaya yun yung isa sa example ng sinasabi ni Clarry. Kapag binavalue mo yung mga customers mo and may customer delight, tama ba yun? Tama ba yung term ko, Clarry, na you mentioned?
Moving from customer satisfaction.
Yeah, diba? babalik at babalik sila sa inyo. Katulad ng ginawa ko dun sa store na yun. Okay? Pero umiyak yung wallet ko dun. Okay, now for our third question from Shaina. Ito naman, since we talked about the customers, alam naman natin na hindi mawawala ng competitors. So for our third question, China is asking, anong strategy po ang pwede namin gawin if merong bagong competitor sa market? And paano pa po mapapataas ang aming market share?
All right. Actually, this question is a bit vague. For me to really give you exact strategies and tactics, I need to get an idea on what particular brand are you or saang field or niche ka. But in terms of general tips, okay, very important for you as a business owner, as a business, as a brand, to get an idea of who your competitors are, right? And what are they doing? Okay? So, for example, for this specific question, anong gagawin mo kung may bago kang competitor? Number one, dapat alam mo kung saan ka malakas. Alam mo yung strengths mo. Meron tayong tinatawag na um, SWOT. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and I'm not sure if familiar yung mga ka-SBN natin doon, but may tinatawag tayong SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So, maybe hindi mo kailangan gawin yun, of course, na nakalista talaga, but you, as a business owner, you should be aware. Okay, ano yung strengths ko? Ano yung weaknesses ko? At ito pang bagong competitor na to is addressing yung weaknesses ko. Meaning, yung weaknesses ko ba ay meron strength nila yon ng competitor ko? If that's the case, then you should start going back to the drawing board and start improving and addressing your weaknesses. So that's number one. Number two, of course, hindi lang sa bagong competitors ka titingin. Titingin ka sa mga competitors mo na existing. If hindi mo kilala yung competitors mo, you're doing it wrong. You're doing business wrong. Dapat alam mo yung competitors mo. Alam mo kung sino yung mga kalaban mo para alam mo kung paano ka gagalaw. Very general yung tip na yun, but it's applicable in terms of business. So, for you as a business owner, and para mas mapataas mo yung market share mo, magkakabit yan actually sa mga sinasabi ko kanina. Of course, it will start with providing good product, good service, meeting your promises for your customers. That's one. If hindi, for sure, sa competitor mo pupunta yan. Di ba? If hindi ko nakuha as a customer yung gusto ko sa product na to, there are alternatives, especially kung very brand competitors kung tawagin. Same product, very small yung differentiation ng mga produkto nyo. Doon ako pupunta sa competitor ko. So, if your product naman is very price dependent in terms of competitiveness. So for example, pababaan lang kayo. Same exact product. For example, mga resellers. Pababaan ng mga produkto. Pababaan ng mga presyo. Of course, same product, I'll be getting the same product. If I'm the customer and I'm aware of these competitors or competing brands, doon ako pupunta sa may mas mababang presyo. Kasi yun yung, as a customer, naturally, we would go to the product na merong mas mababang price. So dito din papasok yung tinatawag natin na augmented product mo. Right? Yung aside from the mismong binebenta mong produkto, ano pa yung ibang nakakabit na makukuha ng customers? So for example, meron kang mabibigay na libreng ipit. So that's one thing. Those are the small things that could actually make a difference in terms of your competitors. So one thing that you could also do is, aside from looking at your competitors, may mga bago, at ano yung mga existing na competitors mo, if you are a local business, if you are a local brand, most especially for local brands and e-commerce, try to look at the best performing brands within your same nature of business, same products, in outside market. So meaning, example, Philippine market yung kina-cover ko in terms of my products. Try ako maghanap ng isang brand sa US that is doing well and tingnan ko kung ano yung ginagawa nila in terms of their strategy. Right? Alamin mo, baligtarin mo. I'm not sure kung alam niyo yung tamang yung term doon na baligtarin mo from up, down. Tingnan mo kung ano yung ginagawa nila at alamin mo kung ano yung strategy na nagwo-work for them and try to use it for yourself dahil magkaiba naman kayo ng market. So that's one. Then another thing in terms of your competitors is very important as well for you to make sure that you're constantly checking kung ano yung performance ng competitors mo, right? Aside from it giving you a drive to do better for your business, naturally people are competitive. So if makita mo, oh my God, this brand is doing well, I should do more, I should uh, produce or sell more. So aside from that particular aspect na napoprovide doon, mas informed ka as a business owner. Mas informed ka, hindi ka lang gumagalaw ng nakapikit, right? So, for example, nagda-drive ka sa kalsada, kailangan mong tingnan yung side mirrors mo and of course yung harapan mo to make sure na wala kang mababangga or to make sure that you are driving on the right lane. And that applies for businesses. Pag alam mo kung ano yung ginagawa ng competitors mo, it's easier for you to differentiate yourself, right? You should always have that unique selling proposition na tinatawag natin sa marketing against your competitors. Tanungin mo yung sarili mo, ano yung meron sa mga competitors mo? Ano yung meron sa'yo? I'm sorry. Tanungin mo sa sarili mo, ano yung meron sa'yo na wala sa competitors mo? And double down in terms of that particular aspect. You should make sure that you will communicate it to your audiences, to your customers, na okay, ito yung wala sa mga brands na yan. Ito yung meron sa amin, right? So for example, you have this particular certification for your product or FDA approved. For example, we have 5 products, ikaw lang yung FDA approved. Make sure that you have that in your marketing collaterals. You have that across your social media. Make sure to double down on that aspect. Make sure to know your unique selling proposition. Make sure to know anong kakaiba sa'yo. And hindi pwedeng kakaiba lang ako dahil sa customer service. I have great customer service compared sa iba. Yeah, customer service is a factor, but that wouldn't really be a big of a factor when choosing between brands. Diba? If pipili ka pa lang, hindi ka pa nakakabili, first time buyer ka, hindi ko naman masasabi na, okay, yung customer satisfaction nito, customer service nito. Maybe from reviews, yeah, that's why it's important for you to have these social proofs and review. But it's easier for someone to have a distinction if they have that main differentiator. So that's one thing that you should really check. Ano ba yung unique selling proposition ko? Ano ba yung kakaiba sa akin na wala sa competitors ko? Kung wala ang sagot mo, then you should start being creative. Start thinking of something else that you could do better, you could do new against your competitors.
Thank you, Clarry. And by doing that as well, I think makukuha mo rin talaga yung attention ng target audience mo. Kasi alam na nila na ito na alam mo na rin actually yung niche audience mo eh. And or yung niche na customer na gusto mong bigyan ng service or pagbentahan ng mga produkto. So, yes, I agree with you on that, Clarry. And for our fourth question, from Jericho Pahigal naman, may maisusuggest pa ba kayo na software or application? I think aside from the Google sites, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok that you've mentioned, may masasuggest ka pa ba na software or application na libreng pwedeng magamit kapag nagsisimula ng negosyo o magtatayo ng isang online store?
All right. Number 1, I think nadaanan din to ni Miss Bianca Ulan during our launch event. If hindi kayo
Yes.
nakapanood mga ka-SBN ng ating launch event, punta lang kayo sa YouTube ng ating SBN Philippines. Search nyo lang Small Business Network Philippines sa YouTube and meron tayo doon uploaded na video ng ating launch event and check for the timestamp for Miss Bianca Ulan's talk. But yeah, aside from of course Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, social media marketing, Facebook shops, yun yung mga libre, Google site, yung binanggit ko kanina, if you want to have your own website, but that's not necessary for an online store. One thing that you could also utilize would be Canva for creating social media collaterals. If you're an online store, again, it's very important for you to start producing social media collaterals, and better if those are video collaterals. So in terms of video, phone app, not necessarily need mo na may magandang design, especially if you're producing a video. You just need to make sure that you have this consistent posting that provides value to your audience, to your target customers. So, phone app for camera, upload mo sa Facebook, that's good. That's a video collateral, that's a marketing collateral for you. Mag-video ka, kumakain or ginagamit mo yung product mo. Marami sa TikTok na ganyan, makikita mo na lang bigla-bigla. Actually, yung mga Chinese products, yung mga products from China, marami doon yung nakita ko, if I might share. Yung isa doon, parang dumating yung biyanan niya, tapos nilinis niya yung buong bahay ng mabilisan, tapos napakita nila doon yung lahat ng products nila
Product.
for house cleaning, which is very good. In a span of 30 seconds, you were able to showcase yung mga produkto mo without hard selling. Na, hey, ito yung product, ito yung ginagawa nito. Because people don't want to be told diretso or to be hard sold. Diba? Gusto nila, nakikita nila by themselves, nare-realize nila by themselves na, ito yung gamit nito, kailangan ko nga to. Kesa yung, ito, gagawin mo to, itong ginagawa nito. That's not really an effective content marketing right now. Hindi na ganon yung way of doing business or doing marketing. So that's one. Other applications, Google Sheets, Google Docs. Google Sheets for organizing your orders. Ngayon, hindi mabubuhay yung two companies ko nung walang Google Workspace. Walang Google Sheet, walang Google Docs. Diyan umiikot yung buong kumpanya. Aside from that, of course, Messenger for Viber. And those are free. When I've seen a lot of online shops that are using Viber for communication. Not actually sure on what would be the inherent advantage of using Viber for it. But for me, itong quick tip if your shop is on Facebook, don't try to bring your audience or your customer to another platform, right? Have your processes within the same platform. That way, kasi mas bababa yung chances kasi there are certain people na tatama rin dahil ang dami pang kailangan gawin, magbabayad ka na lang. So this is one thing specifically for online shops. Minsan, yung shop mo nasa Facebook, dun ka nakita ni audience or ni customer. Tapos sabihin mo, hi, para ma-finalize yung order mo, kailangan mong fill upan tong form na to, isend mo sa GCash, punta ka sa Viber, ibigay mo yung order number, patalon-talon. You have to make it as easy as possible if you're an online shop for your customers to complete the transaction. Right? Pwede mo sabihin, okay, babayaran na lang po dito, pa-screenshot na lang. Ikaw nang mag-handle ng paglista, pagsagot ng form, and all. Right? So, in connection with the apps na ginagamit mo, I suggest, again, Facebook. Everything is there. Instagram has integrated shop functionalities. If you want to have like a website like e-commerce platform, hindi to necessarily libre. Shopify, Prosperna is one emerging na brand in terms of e-commerce website. But aside from that, GCash for payment gateways. GCash is the biggest fintech product right now in the Philippines. So for payment gateways, GCash, Paymaya, it's best if you have multiple payment options for your e-commerce website or for your e-commerce store, for your online shop. Mas madali for someone. Kasi minsan yung mga tao, wala ako nung Paymaya, doon ko na tumatanggap. Hindi na sila kukuha. Kahit pwede ka naman talaga mag-send doon. So, make sure to make it as easy as possible for your customers to complete your transaction if you're an online shop. So, that's that. And other applications, I guess, of course, yung mga nabanggit ko kanina, actually, yun lang muna yung immediate. If you have a more specific business that you will be doing, you can post it on our SBN community group and I will comment personally kung ano yung mga suggested free applications na mga gagamit mo for your online business. One pala, Shopee. You don't really need to pay
Shopee,
to create
Lazada.
Lazada, that's one. I'm not sure why I forgot that one. But yeah, Shopee, Lazada, you should be there. If you are an online shop or e-commerce business, be on Shopee. Just create a shop there, upload mo din sa Facebook, and it gives you more chances of getting seen. So every time na magkakaroon ka ng product, upload mo sa Shopee, upload mo sa Facebook store mo in case man na meron.
Thank you, Clarry. And since we're in the topic of online stores or building an online store, starting an online store, may tanong kasi itong isa nating ka-SBN, si Kenver. And aside from the fact na natuwa ko sa hashtag niya na clarification, connected din yung question niya dito sa siguro sa mga negosyanteng Pinoy natin na gustong mag-start ng online store. Sa tingin mo ba, Clarry, worth it ang gumastos ng mga ads para ma-boost ang sales? Kasi 'di ba meron tayong Facebook ads, meron ding sponsored ads sa Instagram. So do you think worth it yung mga yung pagbili ng mga ganong services when you're gonna use social
Mm.
media?
Yeah, the main answer for this one is, of course, first ask the question, ikaw ba yung magra-run ng ads or hindi? If hindi, then do you have the capacity to pay for someone to run your ads? If ikaw, alam mo ba at marunong ka ba mag-run ng ads? Kasi if gagawin mo lang siya basta-basta, hindi mo alam yung foundational concepts and ano yung processes of running ads, like gagawin mo lang out of nowhere, then most likely hindi siya magiging worth it. Kasi you're not doing advertising properly. So if wala kang budget, first, again, as mentioned earlier, search for Facebook advertising or kung anumang platform na advertising yung gagamitin mo. Yung courses, for sure meron yan across the internet. Yung mismong mga platforms na yun, nagpo-produce ng mga courses for that. Um, if marunong ka na, then ang susunod mong tingnan, or kung meron ka nang gumagawa for you noon, ang susunod mong tingnan, I can't really tell if agad-agad because you need to look at the data. So kapag nag-run ka na ng ads, maybe for the first month, first 2 months, look at your return on ad spend na tinatawag natin or ROAS. Kumbaga, meaning, kunyari, gumastos ka ng 10 pesos for your ads, tapos dun sa pag-run mo ng ads na yon, nakabenta ka ng, let's say, 500 pesos worth ng products. So, kung titingin mo yung proportion ng gastos mo at sa nabenta mo dahil from that ad spend, it makes sense for you as a business owner. So, that's basically, in terms of running advertising, ito yung lagi sinasabi ko sa mga kliyente namin for HX Digital. Dapat data-driven ka. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin lang, okay, maganda yan. Hindi, maganda to. You have to make sure that you are aware in terms of the metrics, especially if it's advertising. And hopefully, our aim here in SBN is to put up an academy, small business academy, and magiging part yan, magiging isa sa course natin, running Facebook ads and advertising for your small business. So hopefully we'll be able to have that within this year or maybe early next year. But aside from that, yun nga, for this one, for this answer to be answered, for this question to be answered more concretely, you can message me, Kenver, on Facebook, and I could provide an initial 15-minute consultation kung ano yung pwede mong gawin in terms of running your ads and ano yung mga options mo. But using your clarification hashtag, actually, promote ko lang, that will be the name of my podcast. I'll be launching my podcast on July 1. So, sa lahat ng mga ka-SBN natin who would like, or actually yung podcast ko, quick plug, shameless plug lang ito. Sa mga ka-SBN natin na nasa young adult phase nila, so in their 20s, I'll be talking about the experiences and pinagdadaanan ng mga young adult in their 20s sa podcast ko niyan. Dropping on first episode natin on July 1. Shameless plug.
Ayun pala yun. Kenbury, ikaw tuloy ang nag-out ng secret na meron palang magkakaroon pala ng podcast ng si Clarry named hashtag clarification. That's good to know because ito nga, Clarry, may isang ka-SBN tayo, no? Pwede ka daw maging consultant sa digital marketing. So baka dun sa hashtag clarification, mapag-usapan mo yung
Ah,
digital marketing.
yeah, actually, I am a consultant po ngayon. I have a couple of engagements with companies across US and Europe. So, if in case man na may inquiry po kayo, kung ka-SBN kayo, of course, I will give the initial insights ko for free sa inyo kasi, of course, ang gusto natin, or mag-post lang po kayo, actually. Yun yung isang ano natin eh. Yun yung isang purpose ng community natin, to provide an avenue for these small business owners to ask their questions and get community feedback and help. So, kung may question po kayo, on our SBN Philippines community and I will be answering your questions.
Thank you, Clarry. And for our last question, galing sa ating ka-SBN na si Mark Hill. Mark, I hope you're here with us this afternoon. Kahit na nasagot mo na to, Clarry, how important is online presence sa mga small businesses or SMEs? Siguro
Alright, yeah.
i-reiterate mo na lang, yung
Iterate na
kanina
lang
mo
to,
na,
yeah.
yung mention mo kanina.
Dadaanin na natin to. So again, for our MSME owners, being digital or being online is not an advantage now, it's a requirement. You need to start producing content and you need to start being visible in social media for you to get visibility on your brand, on your product. Otherwise, napapag-iwanan ka na. So for you, Mark Hill, if you're starting a business, if you have a business, kung gusto mo man na i-grow yung business mo, make sure to learn about social media marketing, digital marketing, and you'll be on a great place. If you have and you are able to get that skill, that's a very very big thing for your business. Otherwise, you can hire other people to run ads, to do your social media marketing. But it would be best as a business owner to have knowledge then, para hindi ka lang aasa sa mga ibang tao talaga to run your marketing. Kahit nag-outsource ka, better to have your knowledge on social media marketing and digital marketing para alam mo kung tama ba itong ginagawa nung nagpo-provide ng service sa'yo or hindi.
Alam mo, Clarry, napansin ko dito sa second segment natin. Puro about social media, actually. Yung mga tanong ng ating mga ka-SBN. So, I hope na, of course, na-enlighten yung ating mga ka-SBN on how important it is to be present in social media. And yung mga na-mention nga na may free platforms naman tayo na nag-e-exist na, no? So that you can start your online stores and make your way to reaching your audiences through social media. Okay? And of course, don't forget yung sabi nga ni Clarry about customer relationships. Since we're online, mas mapapabilis yung pagpasa ng information if may nasabing positive about the store or especially if may nasabing negative. So let's always be mindful on how kung paano natin aasikasuhin or sosolusyonan yung mga negative na reviews from our customers in the future para sa mga gustong magka-negosyo na purely online. Okay. Do you have anything else to add regarding that, Clarry, before we end our second segment?
Yeah, again, for those mga ka-SBN natin na may mga follow-up questions regarding the questions earlier or kung may general question lang kayo, don't hesitate to post on our SBN Philippines community. This group and community is created for us to do this kind of things. Ito mga question and answer portion, magkukuha kayo ng resources or ng tips from other business owners. So we would want to encourage everyone to post and connect with other business owners as well.
Thank you, Clarry. Diyan nagtatapos ang second segment ng ating AMA session. At bago naman tayo tumuloy sa ating huling segment, which is kami naman po ang pipili ng mga questions from our live viewers right now. Bago tayo pumunta doon, panoorin muna natin ang short explainer video ng SBN Philippines.
Work Philippines, or SBNPH, is an online community and resource hub for Filipino MSMEs. It is a free and inclusive platform where Filipino business owners can connect, collaborate, and learn. Why does the Philippines need Small Business Network PH? During the pandemic, unemployment rate rose from 5.1% to 17.7%. 59.9% of micro-enterprises had no sales in March 2020 due to temporary closure of businesses. 73.1% of MSMEs were forced to temporarily close down, in which 18.9% of these permanently closed. 68% of micro-enterprises workers were laid off. The pandemic has significantly altered the business landscape in the Philippines. After implementing strict lockdowns and employing restricted mobility to contain community transmission, the business sector greatly suffered from adverse effects. As a free business resource hub and collaborative community, SBNPH aims to empower Filipino businesses and aid in the road to recovery from the pandemic. What are the benefits of being part of the SBNPH Facebook community? Get access to free valuable content, templates, and resources that will help you grow your business. Easily connect, interact, build networks, and exchange ideas with other Filipino business owners. Join various activation activities such as Ask Me Anything sessions, community polls, giveaways, and business-related webinars and talk shows. Acquire ideas for future-proofing solutions and crisis resiliency. Establish a collaborative and inclusive MSME owners community for your business development and growth. Aside from SBN online community, SBN Philippines will also have free content published in our website and social media channels including SBN guides, which are instructionals, and how-to articles containing short and concise documents conveying relevant, critical information to support business concepts and procedures. Small business stories, which feature stories of entrepreneurs and the struggles and successes of Filipino businesses, which aims to inspire and empower Filipino business owners. SBN resources, which are free downloadable templates, resource articles, and primers that will help Filipino entrepreneurs grow their business. With the growing number of Filipinos opening their own businesses, Small Business Network Philippines aims to be the largest online community and the leading resource hub of Filipino business owners by the year 2025. Follow us on Facebook and join the SBN Philippines Facebook group today.
And that was a short explainer video of SBN Philippines. Clarry, we're back for our last segment. Okay pa ba? May
Okay pa ako.
nakainom ka na ulit.
Yeah, medyo natutuyo na yung bibig ko, but I'm actually very happy that a lot of our SBN community members are curious on how they could improve their businesses online. So hopefully, moving forward for the coming days and weeks, we'll be able to provide more resources for you guys on how you could learn more about digital marketing and how you could bring your business digital and online.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned that, I remembered kanina, nasabi mo rin no, na in the future, ang goal din naman ng SBN is to provide our ka-SBNs with trainings, tama ba? Some consultations as well. So, aside from the fact na meron tayong community na pwedeng matanungan ng ating mga ka-SBN, madadagdag pa na marami pa silang matututunan from the team because mag-organize ka ng mga programs or webinars regarding sa pagtatayo ng isang negosyo para maging negosyanteng Pinoy na sila. And Clarry, with our third segment, eto na, kukuha na tayo ng questions from our viewers this afternoon. So, for our first question is, I'm really sorry, hindi po namin makita yung name nyo, pero alam naman namin na ka-SBN namin kayo. So, eto, hello po, papaano naman po yung mga traditional na mga negosyo katulad ng sari-sari store? Paano po kaya namin may improve yung business namin?
Okay, from Facebook user to, but don't worry po sa nagtanong ng question natin. One of our SBN team members is watching the comment section and matitake note po naman yung name nyo for the shirt. Now, I'll discuss specifically sa sari-sari store owners pero later on, I'll discuss din on what we could do for traditional businesses to improve. Number one, for sari-sari store owners, it's a bit tricky dahil for sari-sari store, almost the same yung products na ino-offer nyo with one sari-sari store, with one another. Depende na lang, of course, kung may mga ibang products na hindi nila ino-offer. So, yung differentiation in terms of your products is not there. Now, for sari-sari store owners, aside from marketing, ito yung isang mabibigay ko sa inyo. Number one, you have to be aware in terms of your finances, right? May ilang mga business owners na, specifically sari-sari store owners, pinaghahalo nila yung pera ng benta ng tindahan sa benta ng ginagamit nila. That's bad because hindi mo malalaman, hindi mo makikip track kung gaano kalakas yung sales mo month from month. Very important for you as a sari-sari store owner, malaman mo at makompare mo magkano yung nilabas mong puhunan sa pumasok na pera ngayong buwan. Right? That's one. Number two, dapat aware ka kung alin yung pinakamalalakas at mababenta na paninda. Right? So for example, nakita ko, yung unang set of binenta ko, bumili ako ng 10 Nova, 10 Piatos, 10 cheesy. Tapos nakita ko, biglang naubos agad yung cheesy. Tapos yung Nova, parang hindi nagalaw, tsaka yung Piatos. So it gives me an idea as a sari-sari store owner, mas maraming bumibili ng cheesy sa mga suki ko, sa mga bumibili sa tindahan ko. Sa susunod, kapag bibili ka, ang pwede mong gawin, untian mo ng konti, bearing in mind the same, yung puhunan na ilalabas natin, yung pinapaikot natin kada buwan, ang gagawin ko, dadamihan ko ng konti yung cheesy to to get an idea, okay, mas mataas ba yung demand na tinatawag natin for the cheesy or mas mababa ba yung demand for Piatos sa Nova? One thing that you need to be aware of is yung demand sa mga tinitinda mo. Very ano yun eh. Alam yun ng mga sari-sari store owner natin. Parang kasi kayo din naman yung nagdi-deal with your customers eh, di ba? Kapag may bibili kayo, magbebenta. Mapapansin mo, meron po ba kayong Meron po ba kayong ganito? Meron po ba kayong ganyan? Sasabihin mo, wala. Pero wag mo lang sabihin na wala. Wala, pero next week kukuha kami, bibili na kami. Kung kailan ka man bumibili ng paninda mo, sabihin mo yon. Para kasi posible ang mangyari kapag yung customer na yon, nalaman niya, hindi nagtitinda yan. Hindi na siya babalik every time na need niya ng bagay na yon. Doon siya pupunta sa kalapit na sari-sari store na merong tininda at nabilhan niya nung una. So, if you are sari-sari store owner, that's one thing. You need to get an idea in terms of the demand. Alin yung pinakamabenta mong paninda? Right? Then start introducing mga bagong paninda, getting from the feedback ng mga tinatanong ng mga bumibili sa iyo, ng mga suki mo. Or pwede mong actually tanungin, suki, anong gusto mo ngayon? Ano yung malimit mong ginagamit? Interact. Same thing with what I mentioned earlier with any other business and any other online business. Interact with your customers. Hindi naman yun naiiba eh. So, tanungin mo, suki, ano yung kailangan mo sa bahay? Ano yung malimit na binibili mo? You need to get an idea of what new products you can offer for your customers. Aside from that, dapat aware ka, kasi yung sari-sari store ngayon, mainly, madadetermine nung sari-sari store kung gaano siya kadaming mamimili sa, number one, gaano kalapit yung kasunod na sari-sari store. Right? And number two, kung gaano kadami yung bahay dun sa area of coverage mo. Kumbaga, yung mga, kasi area naman yung sari-sari store niyan eh. So, you also have to get an idea sino-sino yung nasa area of coverage mo bilang isang sari-sari store. Knowing your audience, di ba? Mas pinasimple lang. Mas ibang situation lang. So, kapag kilala mo, alam mo maraming manginginom dito sa lugar namin. Maraming malakas red horse dito kahit tanghali pa lang, nagre-red horse na. Then, you should get an idea that your products, okay, alak. Ano yung kasunod ng alak? Pulutan. Di ba? So,
Tama.
dapat, babalik dyan tayo, knowing your audience. Sino ba yung mga bumibili sa'yo? Sino ba yung area of coverage mo as a sari-sari store owner? And doon mo malalaman kung paano mo bibilhin or ano yung inventory, kumbaga. Ano yung mga inventory or supplies or paninda na kailangan mong kunin. So, that's one. That's three. Actually, prove that's one ako. I'm sorry. Another thing that we could also do for our sari-sari store owners is, ito medyo advanced to, medyo digital to ng content. It would require additional, perhaps effort. But, if you're a sari-sari store owner, and ang pwede mong gawin, ibigay mo yung number mo dun sa mga suki mo, mga mamimili mo, or kahit siguro may QR code ka sa tindahan mo. Right? Pagkaskan ng QR code, digital naman na ngayon. So, hindi natin alam kung baka mamaya sari-sari store pala to sa Cubao. So, for sure, may mga Gcash na yung mga yan. Number one, pwede mong gawin, maglagay ka ng QR code doon, meron kang Facebook page or yung number mo, pag-scan doon, makakonect nila. Pwedeng doon na sila umorder mismo. Parang Food Panda, di ba? So, that way, pwede mong gawin, or pwedeng communication na mismo. Suki, kaysa pumunta pa sila sa tindahan mo. Right? Kaysa pumunta, maglalakad sila ng 5 minutes, pupunta na, wala na pala, wala na ng suki, wala na kami na, naubusan na. Tanong mo muna, phone, right? Mare, meron ba nito? Wala na, Mare, pero bukas bibili kami, so magre-restock kami. That's one way for you to provide additional value to your customers. Dito papasok yung customer delight, di ba? Customer satisfaction, okay, nabili nila yung kailangan nila, customer delight. Pinadali mo yung buhay nila ng pagbili. So that's one. Then, aside from that, ano pa ba? Ito kasi one time na consider ng girlfriend ko of putting up a water delivery store, yung nagre-refill. Now, for the name of the game for those kind of stores is kung gaano kalawak, again, yung area of coverage mo. Right? Kung gaano kadami yung, kasi kapag nakakuha ka ng isang order sa'yo, recurring na yan, ite-text ka na lang nila, tapos paulit-ulit na yan, sila na bibili sa'yo. Ganun yung ginagawa namin sa condo. So, one thing that you could do is to have a scheme or a scheme offer, kung baga tawagin. Pwede mo sabihin, if you have the capacity to have some additional budget for marketing, is, okay, libre na sa inyo yung unang tubig nyo na order sa amin. Tapos isave nyo lang yung number namin or message nyo kami sa Facebook, then recurring na yon. Recurring na sa inyo na sila kukuha ng tubig. So that's one. Those are some of the things that you could do in terms of your sari-sari store or your water delivery service. Okay. Okay na yun, ha? Next
Thank you,
question tayo.
Clarry. Yeah, next question from our ka-SBN, from Tony Lovegood. May I ask po, how do we find inspiration to strive harder sa pagnenegosyo, especially kung matumal talaga ang benta, hindi talaga naiiwasan?
One thing, or first thing, sorry, mahilig ako sa one thing na. First
There are
thing that you have,
Go ahead.
many things. We have discussed a lot of things on this AME session, but first thing for this question is, una dapat mong alamin and i-assess mo kung talagang matumal yung benta mo, dapat ko pa bang ituloy ito? It's part of reality. Sometimes there are hard pills to swallow. And as a business owner, again, as mentioned earlier, you have to be self-aware and to be aware if this business is still okay to be pursued or not. Am I wasting my resources? Am I wasting my money, capital, and effort for this business? So that's one. You have to get an idea. I'm sure you have a good feel naman dun sa industry na ginagalawan mo. Kung wala kang alam dun sa industry na ginagalawan mo, then you should then be there. Hindi ka dapat nasa industry na. Kaya matumal yung benta mo dahil hindi mo alam yung ginagalawan yung place. But if na-realize mo na okay, hina talaga yung benta ngayon, you have to go back to the drawing board. Again, you have to be creative. You have to try new ways. Now, in terms of how you can find or where can you find inspiration to strive harder, I think hindi na to ganun kahirap sagutin na tanong. Number one, if you're doing business for your family, to provide for your family, that's a good enough reason for you to continue striving harder and continue trying for your family, for your business. So that's one. But maybe one thing that I should also discuss here as an entrepreneur, yung tinatawag nating locus of control. Right? Meron kasi tayong two types of locus of control. Ito yung parang internal and external locus of control. Yung tinatawag natin na internal locus of control, parang sinasabi mo na yung decisions mo or yung mga nangyayari sa'yo at sa business mo is because of your own decisions, because of your own actions. External locus of control, parang kunyari, ang great example ng external locus of control, natalo kayo sa isang game, tapos sinabi, hindi gawa nung referee yan. Hindi gawa nung court yan, madulas. Ganun. So as an entrepreneur, it's important for you to have that internal locus of control, for you to be self-aware, for you to be able to understand alin sa mga ginawa mo para sa business mo yung hindi effective, right? Alin yung mga mali mong ginawa as a business owner and learn from it. So, in terms of finding inspiration, again, hindi ko masasabi to personally sa'yo, pero kung matumal talaga ang benta, ang ma-advise ko sa'yo, number one, ask yourself, bakit matumal ang benta? Dahil ba hindi ganun kataas yung demand? Dahil ba may recession? Pwede yun. Pangalawa, dahil ba hindi mo masyadong namamarket yung produkto mo? Then the next step for you to do it, learn how to do marketing as an entrepreneur, as a single business owner. So, yun yung pinaka-kailangan mong gawin. Kasi for me, as an entrepreneur, you will always have an inspiration to strive harder. Otherwise, you have that external locus of control na feeling mo lahat na nangyayari sa'yo ay dahil sa ibang bagay, dahil sa iba. Yeah.
Thank you, Clarry. For our third question from our ka-SBN, ano bang pwede nating, okay, ano po ang pinaka-purpose ng SBN? Tinatanong
Alright,
natin.
pinaka-purpose po ng SBN, I think, okay na din na masagot ang question para malinawan tayong lahat. Number one is we wanted to have an inclusive platform for every Filipino business owner to connect, collaborate, and learn. Meaning, ang gusto natin gawin, kasi ang dami ngayong Facebook groups, to be honest. Ang daming Facebook groups ngayon na Online Sellers Pinas. But the difference here in SBN is, number one, hindi lang tayo nag-create ng group just for us to create a community. Nag-create tayo ng group to facilitate transfer of knowledge. Ang kakaiba sa atin bilang isang community, meron tayong mga ganitong exclusive events, right? Active tayo. Kada buwan, may gagawin kaming mga kagaya nitong EMA session natin para mas matutunan ng ating mga ka-SBN kung paano nila mai-improve yung business nila. Pangalawa, ang isa pa sa SBN na kakaiba ay hindi po nagtatapos bilang community yung plano natin. Ang plano po namin sa SBN is mag-develop kami ng mga applications, yung parang Facebook, or hindi naman necessary kagaya ng Facebook talaga, pero mga applications, mobile applications and website applications na would help you as a business owner improve your processes and speed up your growth. So, yun yung pinaka-purpose po ng SBN. But aside from that, again, as mentioned during the launch event, na-realize natin kung gaano talaga nahirapan ang mga business owners during the COVID pandemic. And we wanted to make sure that we have a part, and we have that particular help sa ating mga Filipino MSME owners para tuluyan tayo makabangon. And ngayon, may mga monkeypox, may mga bagong variant ulit ng COVID. So, it's high time for us to make sure that we are actively participating in such initiatives and communities like this one, especially if you're a business owner.
Thank you, Clarry. And for another question, galing sa ating ka-SBN, yung ibang rin kasi na sagot na all throughout the other segments. No? Ano pong gagawin para iba pala from our other ka-SBN? How can I help people in the rural area to like SBN?
SBN? Yeah, that's part of our agenda actually for SBN, and it would be great if our community members itself are trying or are doing or being ambassadors for SBN. So, kung may mga kakilala po kayo, kahit not necessarily naman sabihin na, oy, i-like mo tong SBN. Kasi hindi nila malalaman kung ano yung makukuha nila sa SBN. Pwede nyo sabihin, oy, part ako ng Facebook group na to, tapos nagkakaroon sila ng mga activities para maturuan tayo paano natin may improve yung business nila. That way, kapag sinishare natin yung SBN sa kanila, makukuha nila agad kung ano yung meron sa kanila pag sumali sila doon. Hindi lang parang like. Then, that's unpurposeful eh. Like, i-like mo naman yung SBN. Para saan? Ano makukuha ko? By nature of people, lagi tayong, what's in it for me? Diba? So, if we are able to communicate properly, that if sumali sila dito sa SBN, number one, makakakilala sila ng mga ibang micro and small business owners mula sa buong Pilipinas. Number two, makaka-access sila sa mga live training sessions, live training events sa mismong community natin. And number three, may mga giveaways. Yun yung pinakagusto ng karamihan sa atin. Kagaya ng isang nag-comment dito, sana manalo ng t-shirt. Yan, so yan po, yan yung gusto natin eh. But aside from that, again, ang main purpose namin for SBN is to facilitate transfer of knowledge. So that's the very important thing for us and pinaka-purpose ng ating SBN community. So I guess we're down to our last question, no, Therese?
Last question na.
Mahaba-haba na yung ating
session.
Marami nang natutunan.
And may other time pa naman, syempre, this is not gonna be the last Ask Me Anything session with Clarry or any of our other team members, or maybe we can even invite speakers in the field of business.
Actually.
Ayun, so abangan nyo yung mga ka-SBN.
Ang plano namin dito sa SBN talaga is to invite field experts, subject matter experts, para hindi lang naman, of course, for example, legal matters. I'm not really an expert of legal matter. I can't really share things about legal matters about small businesses. So, goal natin is to invite these people as subject matter experts and have this kind of shows and events within our community. But yeah, for the next question natin, I think
for the last question from our ka-SBN, kadalasan po ay may suggested stores na lumalabas sa Facebook feed. Kahit hindi naman ako naka-like sa kanila, effective po ba yung ganong marketing, I guess? They're trying to reach you.
I'm not sure what's your name, pero ka-SBN, itong sinabi mo na to, this is part of the algorithm ni Facebook. So, algorithm parang yan yung mismong ginagawa nung software or nung AI, artificial intelligence, ni Facebook. Meaning, number one, pinapakita ni Facebook sa'yo yan dahil nakita ni Facebook, kasi matalino si Facebook artificial intelligence, matalino sa Facebook. Alam niya kung ano yung mga bagay na nag-i-interact ka. Alam niya kung ano yung mga interest mo, even outside of its platform. Tinatrack niya yan. So, kunyari, nag-search ka sa Google, magugulat ka na lang bigla. Nag-search ka sa Google, or kahit nga minsan napag-usapan niyo lang ng
Uy,
kaibigan mo.
nakakatakot yung ganun, pero totoo.
Di ba, mapag-uusapan nyo lang, tapos makikita mo na sa yung Facebook feed. And
Yeah.
that's because of the algorithm ni Facebook. And ang ginagawa kasi ni Facebook is, para mas magtagal ka sa platform nila, of course, gusto niyang ipakita sa'yo yung mga interest mo. And dati hindi pa siya ganun hindi pa siya ganun kalakas. But when TikTok started to really go big because of its algorithm, dahil sa kung paano niya talaga napapakita yung mga content na hindi mo naman talaga fina-follow, na hindi ka pa aware before, pero alam ni algorithm ni TikTok na gusto mo, lumalabas sa FYP page mo. And Facebook and Twitter and Instagram is trying to integrate that into their algorithm. So, yung dito, ka-SBN, itong tanong mo na to, effective yon dahil yun yung ginagawa ng mismong algorithm ng platform, ng Facebook, ng Instagram. Now, as a business owner, paano mo siya matitake into your advantage, right? So number one, optimize your profile. So meaning sa Facebook, sa Instagram, make sure na sa about page mo, right? Meron kang kumpletong description of your store. Mention mo dito kung ano yung products mo, sino yung target market mo. Provide that value proposition na tinatawag natin. Ano yung unique selling proposition mo na napag-usapan natin kanina. So, aside from that, engagements in terms of your Facebook page. Kasi kapag nakita na ni Facebook na marami ka ng followers na ganito yung demographics, na ganito yung interest, ipapakita niya na sisimulan niyang ipakita yung page na yon sa mga taong alam niya, kasi maraming data points na hawak sa'yo sa Facebook. Maraming data points na mas kilala pa ni Facebook yung sarili mo kaysa sa'yo. Ganyan yung sinasabi namin. So, ang ginagawa ni Facebook dyan, sa algorithm niya, dahil nalaman niya na same set of interest kayo or similar interest kayo, sa start siyang magpakita ng mga Facebook page na yung karamihan sa followers and engagers niya ay may same interest sa'yo. Kasi dahil doon, mas tatagal ka, mas mag-i-engage ka sa platform nila. So as a business owner, again, papatak pa rin yan sa social media marketing natin, digital marketing. Make sure that you are online dahil ito yung bagong way ni Facebook. Not really new actually. Pero ito yung way ng mga platform, social media platforms, para mas magkaroon ng visibility yung accounts na hindi pina-follow ng mga existing na mga accounts natin. So for example, yun nga, Twitter dati, pina-follow mo lang kung sino yung nakikita mo lang sa timeline mo kung sino pina-follow mo. But the bad thing about that, in terms of the perspective of these platforms, is that pag natapos na yung mga bagong tweet mo, aalis ka na ng app. Diba? And that's a bad thing for their platform. Kasi bumababa yung time spent mo on Twitter. Bumababa yung time spent mo on Facebook. Tapos, mas mababang time spent on Facebook, meaning less chances of them showing advertisements sa'yo as a user. Kasi doon naman kumikita sa Facebook, sa Twitter through the advertisements sa kanilang platform. So, ang gusto nila ngayong gawin is for their users to stay longer on their platform by showing these accounts, these posts, na kahit hindi mo naman fina-follow. Kasi ganun yung naging effective kay TikTok. That's why ngayon, longest time spent among social media platforms, TikTok yan. Parang kahit ako minsan, pag wala akong ginagawa, tas gusto kong mag-chill lang, hindi mo mapapansin, 3 oras ka na nasa TikTok, hindi mo na alis. Just because of their algorithm. Just because hindi mo kailangan mag-follow ng maraming tao para makakita ng content sa FYP. So that's that.
Thank you, Clarry. And kaya rin siguro ang dami sa TikTok na kahit beginner ka pa lang, ang dami mo na agad magiging follower. Kasi, and from all over the world, not just Philippines. Kasi nga, i-connect ka niya to other individuals from kahit across the continent pa yan.
True.
So,
True.
Gabi, iba na talaga ngayon ang social media, lalong-lalo na ang TikTok. So, let's see kung ano pang mangyayari sa TikTok na platform when it comes to making businesses. I think you have something to add.
Yeah,
may TikTok ba?
Small Business Network will be launching our TikTok.
Oh,
Siyempre,
okay.
dahil sinasabi namin to, dapat ginagawa din namin. So, we'll be on TikTok, of course. Follow nyo lang kami. We'll be announcing on our Facebook community dahil we're still on the early part of our project of SBN Philippines. But yeah, we'll be launching our TikTok anytime soon. Hintayin nyo lang po. Make sure to follow us on TikTok. Make sure to follow us on any other social media platforms that will be there. And ang mga kikita nyo, ang aasahan nyo sa pag-follow sa TikTok namin is short form content or mas papasiksikin natin yung mga kaalaman na pwede natin makuha in 30 seconds. So, itong AMA session, tumagal ng 2 oras. Pero sa TikTok, 30 seconds may makukuha na kayong kaalaman na pwede nyo magamit para i-improve yung inyong marketing at saka yung inyong negosyo.
So we'll be seeing more of Clarry sa TikTok, and of course, you'll be hearing more from him if you stand by and listen to his upcoming podcast. #clarification. Pinoplug ko na for you, Clarry. And
Thank you
that's
for
the
the
end of our AMA session. But before we say our goodbyes, na-mention namin kanina na magkakaroon nga po tayo ng giveaway ng ating #AhoNegosyanteng Pinoy shirt. And ito na po ang ating mga winners for our giveaway. But before I announce that, our ka-SBN shared his or her thoughts. I'm starting to understand what digital marketing is all about. Take note, I'm on my senior year. That's great. That's good to know. That's why Clarry is
That's part of
here.
our purpose. Yeah, that's part
Yes,
of our
yeah.
purpose for SBN Philippines, to be inclusive. Even if you're a senior years ka na, it's very important for you to learn and to transfer this kind of knowledge to other Filipino business owners. Yeah.
Thank you, Clarry. And again, ito na ang ating mga winners ng #AhonNegosyanteng Pinoy. I hope nandito pa rin po yung ating mga winners. Clarry, if wala dito yung winners natin, if they don't recognize themselves sa chat box or sa comment section, mapupunta pa rin ba sa kanila yung ating shirt?
Yes, just make sure lang po dun sa mga mananalo for today ng ating giveaway shirt. I-message po kayo ng isang SBN team member. So, bigay lang po natin yung information na hinihingi namin, yung shirt size nyo, yung address nyo, para mapadala namin yung ating Ahon Negosyong Pinoy t-shirt. And dahil marami nag-request last time for our shirt to be given away.
Okay, well, to our winners, ready your shirt sizes and address. Ito ang ating mga winners ng #AhonNegosyanteng Pinoy. Coming up in the first place, competition pala. Ang ating first winner, I see Kate Andrea Sotalbo. Are you here, Kate? Let us know. Thank you very much for sending in that question for Clarry. Yung i-reiterate ko lang din po kung paano namin pinili yung mga winners natin ng #AhonNegosyanteng Pinoy, no? Yung mga winners po natin na ito ay mga nagbigay ng tanong for Clarry to answer dito sa ating Ask Me Anything session. Okay? So first, si Kate Sotalbo. Second, si Angel Brianas. Congratulations, Angel. I hope you're here watching our live session. Third, si Shaina Benavente. Shaina, I hope you're here. And coming in fourth, si Jericho Del Rosario. Hi, Jericho. Thank you very much for sending in that question. Fifth, si Mark Hill na nagtanong about sa online presence. I remember that's the second segment natin. Number 6, si Pasensya Mabalhin rather, sorry. Miss Pasensya, thank you very much for being with us yet again. Naalala ko po kayo ng ating launch event. Active po yan si Miss Pasensya sa ating comment section. And of course, active din si Miss Tony Lovegood. You also won a #AhonNegosyanteng Pinoy shirt. Thank you for sticking with us until the end. And ang pangwalo na nanalo ng ating t-shirt, si Angelica Carlos. Angelica, congratulations. You won a shirt from SBN. Ninth, si Kenver Baluyot. Kenver, hello, congratulations, and thank you for telling us about #clarification. 10th, si Suraini Galangan sa Kandal. Congratulations, you also won a shirt from us. And last, ang ating last winner ng #AhonNegosyanteng Pinoy is si Rico Pahigal. Congratulations to our 11 winners. Again, intayin nyo lang po, mag-message ang isa sa mga team members ng SBN para kunin ang inyong shirt size and address. Okay? So thank you
Mhm.
again for being with us. Dito na, nagtatapos ang ating AMA session today. And Clarry, may mga last words of encouragement ka ba? Would you want to share your few words of wisdom to our mga
Yeah.
ka-SBN?
Yeah, of course, unang-una gusto ko pong pasalamatan yung mga ka-SBN na sumama sa atin ngayong hapon. Hopefully po ay marami tayong natutunan ngayong araw sa ating email session. At again, kung may mga katanungan pa po tayo na gustong malaman, kahit nga hindi katanungan, kahit i-share natin yung story natin kung paano tayo nagsimula ng ating business, i-post lang po natin yan sa ating SBN Philippines online community sa Facebook group. Then, of course, sa padating po na July 27, ito po yung MSME Day natin. So magkakaroon po tayo ng event sa ating SBN Philippines Facebook page. And of course, stream simultaneously sa ating YouTube and sa ating SBN Philippines for the MSME Day. For the MSME Day po, hindi lang namin ni-level up namin to, hindi lang MSME Day. Kasi yung mismong MSME Day natin is on June 27. I'm sorry, not July 27, it's June 27. So ginawa namin tong MSME Week. So sa week ng June 27 hanggang July 1 at July 2 ay magkakaroon po kami ng apat na online events. Sa Monday, magkakaroon tayo ng SBN Talks or interview with a restaurant owner, na Filipino restaurant owner. Pangalawa, sa Wednesday, June 29, magi-interview naman po tayo or SBN Talks talk show po ito with an e-commerce owner. And pangatlo, sa ating Friday na event, meron tayong online business owner. So gusto namin ma-cover yung mga tatlong industries niyon. And sa Sabado, July 2, dito po tayo magkakaroon ng webinar. Ang gusto po namin sa webinar na to ay ma-invite yung mga speakers na pwede makatulong sa'yo to start your online business journey. So, abangan na lang po yung announcement natin sa ating Facebook page ng Small Business Network Philippines and hopefully makita po namin ulit kayo sa ating MSME Week.
Thank you, Clarry. And if you know, if may makakilala po kayo ng ibang mga negosyanteng Pinoy or nag-aasam na magkaroon ng negosyo or to know more about how they can start their business, ayain nyo na po sila dito sa ating SBN Facebook group because lalo na-mention nga ni Clarry, magkakaroon tayo ng week-long event. Doon pa lang, ang dami na nilang makukuha na knowledge regarding building a business and how to maintain a business and overcoming different sabihin ko sana tragedies pero problems when it comes to challenges when it comes to having a business, being a negosyanteng Pinay. Okay, so that's it. I have been your host, Therese, and Clarry has been with us to answer all of your questions for him. And like what he's mentioned, open po ang ating community group, ang ating group para sa mga iba nyo pang tanong na hindi nasagot dito sa ating AMA session. So abangan nyo lang po sa ang ating mga announcements. And Clarry, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Therese. Thank you very much, mga ka-SBN.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and happy weekend. Happy weekend, everyone. Thank you.